Woodward. We are starting off your day with a brand new crew. Meet Broder.
I can't control my arms sometimes. My limbs are just kind of flying.
Detroit Kool-Aid.
Fired up!
Y'all got Kool-Aid.
I'm fired up! But with the Wake Up Woodward crew, he's actually a part of the family.
Flannel Sam.
Ask me about my wiener.
Okay.
Along with JB and KG. Wake Up Woodward gets you all of your Detroit sports talk. Every morning, 8 to 10 a.m. Live on Woodward Sports. A show for Detroit, by Detroit, with people from Detroit. Tell Siri to set an alarm, because it's time to Wake Up Woodward.
And yo, I'm fired up! I'm fired up! Let's rock. Thank you guys for choosing to kick off the day with the WUW Crew's Wake Up Woodward chat family. As always, y'all are the most important part of this thing. So to start this off right, let's get that like button all smashed up. It's your boy Brandon, aka Detroit Kool-Aid. I cover the Pistons around here, and this is the vet of the network, Flannel Sam. Good morning, brother.
I can tell you didn't watch the Tigers last night because there's no way you could be this happy. There's no way you can come in this happy after watching what we had to watch last night. But you know what? It's gonna be fun. We're gonna have a cup of coffee with the Tigers a little early on, and then we're gonna leave them in the back burner and talk a lot of NFL today. And I am looking forward to that.
You know what, man? That was an astute observation. Last night, I actually was Tigers free. I didn't want to be, but some family obligations, man. And had a good night. I feel rested. I feel relaxed. I feel energized for a big show. Shout out to Matthew Broder, our credentialed Tigers, and our Lions reporter and writer for the network.
So you're telling me you missed the return of Javy Baez to Wrigley Field? the standing ovation, the tip the cap to the Wrigley fans. I saw the Cubs. They tweeted out, what was it, unforgettable? Or the moment was so important to their fan base. What a bizarre night. He followed up with an 0 for 4 and 4 strikeouts.
I thought you were being funny. When you said, hey, the return of Javy Baez. You could have ended right there because it was an 0 for 4 night.
You would have thought Ryan Sandberg was returning to Chicago. The way it was unbelievable how they were honoring this guy. And I partially... No, I don't get it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
No, wait a minute. Let's be fair about this. For the Cubs, Javy Baez is perfect.
Yeah.
He was good for them. You can say, I know it's hard to believe, but they did win a World Series with him there in 2016, breaking a 108-year drought. I'm not saying that Javy Baez was the biggest reason that they won. They had a really talented team, but he was a factor. And believe it or not, for all of you folks who back in my day, I remember in 2018 when Javy Baez was actually second at NL MVP. But if you're a Cubs fan, you're probably looking at him right now and just being like, we let this man go, and it was the greatest thing ever. We got his best, and now the Tigers have to deal with what he is now.
Yes.
So if you're a Cubs fan, you're probably feeling pretty vindicated, especially after the game that he had last night. Yikes.
Oh, man.
Storybook.
To the rest of the WUW Crew. We got intern Chase in the building. I see you there with JB Smooth as well. He's training all over the place. He said he wants to know and how to do everything. Shout out to you, Chase. We got Freddie Felt, part of the chat family. Really been supporting us since the ground level, man. Shout out to you. He's live in studio. We got that dude, Justin, as well in the building. But this elite booth, we got Detroit's #1 draft pick in the sound booth. That is KG. What up, though, Black Hollywood?
What up, though, man?
I love the shirt, too.
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you. I can't lie. Neil Rule was losing his shit in the group chat over that Javy Baez thing last night. It was fucking hilarious, man. I thought it was more cynical by the Cubs fans. Like Sam said, they got their use out of him. They got rid of him at the right time. And I was like, yeah, look at him. Javy Baez, yeah.
He did a lot of good things for them, man.
He did.
Like, people forget Chicago Cubs, like, prime Javy. He wasn't really my kind of guy because he doesn't get on base.
Yeah.
He
was the same player he is now, just worse.
Well, I mean,
he was literally the same player. He struck out more as a Cub than a Tiger.
But he hit the ball, man. His averages were good. His power numbers were good. His OPSs were pretty good. And that's the thing. If you're a Cubs fan, Javy Baez is kind of a cult hero, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
But if you're a Tigers fan, he's a scourge to society. He's Voldemort.
And we should
rightfully so.
We have those players here
Yes.
as well.
Of
We
course.
probably have players that were even worse or were worse than Javy Baez. And
Absolutely.
we absolutely threw the cape on for them, man. That's got to be a segment one day as well, man. Well, and you know what, chat family? I'm just curious, who are some of those players that you knew you unreasonably caped for? Some would probably say it's Andre Drummond for me. Yeah. Shout out to Woodward Sports. I hear you over there.
But see, are we talking? Are we talking Andre Drummond and Javy Baez in the same breath? That's where I'm like, come on.
Wait, who's lower? Who's lower on the totem pole for you out of those two?
Javy.
Okay, good. Okay.
Jesus
Okay,
Christ,
good.
Javy.
I was about to
very
say.
surprised.
I thought you were reversed.
No.
Okay, good.
No, it's
Yeah, we was
disrespectful.
worried about you.
Drummond.
We was worried about you.
Jesus
know what?
Christ. Come on.
Actually, hey,
Yes.
Hey, I like that.
Good
hey,
Lord.
Shout out to Woodward Sports. I'm really surprised. I thought it was going to be the other way, but this has been long. This has been delayed. Shout out to Woodward Sports' MVP in the TD booth,
Titties.
Javy Smooth.
I swear this is the last time I'm betting on the Tigers. I swear. I promise.
Also, this is your fault.
This is not my fault. This is Javy's fault. Come on. I took the run line too. Like, come on. Like,
Come on, man. You
like,
knew
I
better.
thought that was at least
You
going
knew
to cash,
better.
but come on. This is just terrible.
You could have just
I'm
gave
done.
me that money, man. You had to just give it away like that.
I'm
Give it to
just
somebody
done.
that need it, man.
Yo,
I'm just done.
we got the entire WUW crew in the building. We got Freddie Felt, chat family member in the building, man. His facial expressions and his reactions are going to have me cracking up also. I got to like blinders. But
Oh, yeah.
Matthew Broder, would you like to tell the people
Yeah.
the rundown?
We got a lot of Lions. We got some Pistons. Obviously, we've been talking the Tigers here, but I have a couple hypothetical trades for you to get the show warmed up. Then we're going to jump into training camp. We got some injury updates, got some one-on-one highlight clips to play for you guys because there were some dudes making plays out there on offense, on defense. It was really cool, the stuff the Lions were putting out. Then I want to talk to you guys a little bit more about just the NFC outlook. There was some stuff that Flannel and Sean Beligian were talking about last week about the Falcons, and it just got me thinking about how the powers that be at the top of the NFC, have they changed it all in the last 2 weeks? Like, who are we really worried about for that number one seed going into the playoffs? Then we got Rod Beard coming on for 2 segments. We're going to go around the city and then our Woodward Pistons segment with him. And depending on how much time we have after that, we're going to stick on offense with the Lions. Talk a little bit more about wide receivers, wide receiver 4. Is it a need? Is it not? Got some hypothetical scenarios for you guys too. So should be a really fun show. Lions, Pistons, a little bit of Tigers. I'm excited. Tomorrow we're going to get back into defense for the Lions, our defensive NFC North positional group rankings. So today's offense, tomorrow's defense. I'm ready to go, boys.
Hey, I'm pumped up, man. So let's get warmed up so we can get right into the game.
Cool. I want to get you warmed up with some hypothetical wide receiver trade situations. But first, just to set the table, set the stage, set the table. Would you guys even consider a trade for a wide receiver? Like, cut day is coming up soon. Are you thinking about, would you rather trade for a wide receiver, go get a guy you want, or wait till cut day and see what falls?
Oh, see, this is tough because I know the scenarios. I know one that you put that I would probably actually do.
Yeah.
Would I do something like that willy-nilly? Not necessarily. As I've said before, I don't mind Khalif Raymond as a wide receiver 3. It's just I think the fact that we're having this conversation, and I know I keep bringing this up, is a real black mark on Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Yeah.
That man was supposed to. He had everything in front of him. They got rid of Josh Reynolds, and this guy is probably going to get cut. It's unfortunate. We shouldn't be having this conversation, but the person who we're talking about trading for a wide receiver, we shouldn't be having this conversation about him either, but yet here we are. And I get it. It's first world problems because the Lions, I mean, we all still think that they're going to, at the absolute worst, win the NFC North. But interesting conversations, though, to have.
Yeah.
Interesting conversations. I like talking about the wide receiver 3s.
I know, right?
Me personally.
Ain't it
You know what I'm saying,
such a good
KG?
topic of conversation?
I mean, you know what? It shows that we can talk about more than just who are the starters.
Yes.
Can you tell me what's actually going on right now on this football team? I know that my ball knowers here can. Can yours out there?
Ooh.
You know who could
I'm
today,
just saying.
probably? Steve
Ominous.
Lehman.
I'm just
Happy
saying.
birthday, bro. One of our longtime chat members.
Shout out.
Got to shout you out, Steve. An incredible photographer, by the way. I think he has aspirations to be a Lions photographer one day. Check him out on social media. The dude is a legend. Happy birthday to you. On this trade scenario, on this wide receiver trade scenario, actually, we didn't call out Dante's super chat yet, did we? Or excuse me, Rando Smalls, $10 super chat.
Shout
Sam,
out.
he asked, so Sam, how is your winker?
Hey, could the Tigers have used Jesse Winker last night or no?
Yes.
Yes, they could have.
Yes, they could. Thank you, Rando. We appreciate it. So we sort of set the stage with the would you trade for a wide receiver. Would you now trade James Houston for a wide receiver of your choice? And I have some hypothetical trade scenarios, but would you dangle James Houston at this point?
I don't.
No,
you go ahead.
What I was going to say is this. Based on the conversations we had yesterday and kind of where some people see him, if you were going to cut him, then the best thing to do is to be able to get something for him.
Right.
If that was the direction you're going. Me personally, I still think there's a little bit of meat on the bones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
is why
where
it's
I'm
hard.
at, though.
KG?
Yeah, and just the need at wide receiver doesn't outweigh the need at defensive end. So I'm good. I don't want to get rid of any edge rushers, especially for a wide receiver 3 or 4. Like, what are we talking about here? So I'm
you what we're
good.
talking about.
I'm hanging on to my pass rushers.
You know, in a vacuum, I would say no. And Kool-Aid, you said something the other day that I'm beginning to think is potentially true about James Houston, that James Houston's probably just a gamer. Because there's a reason why he was drafted in 2022, and he was on the practice squad for the first 8 or so weeks, and then came up and was this revelation. Obviously, we know what happened last year, but the Lions need James Houston to step up.
They do.
Especially given what happened to John Kaminsky being out for probably the whole year, given Marcus Davenport's injury history, given Josh Pascal's injury history. The Lions need James Houston to at least go kill the quarterback 4 or 5 times at minimum this year. And if he finds himself off the team,
That would be disappointing.
I wouldn't be like terrified or anything. I wouldn't be like season's over, but those are things that make you say,
Yeah,
I'll just say that.
I'm with you too. I hope he stays on the team. I hope he makes it. But he is a trade piece. He's a chip that another team like the Texans might be interested in to add some depth behind Will Anderson Jr. if they think they can turn James Houston into somebody. And the fact the Texans, they have like 8 receivers. They have their 3 starters. Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs, and Nico Collins, and then they got a bunch of really good wide receivers.
They almost made some perfect trade partners.
Yeah. So I'm going to start a trade scenario with them first. I have John Mechie up on the screen, but I put a few other options, and I will point out all of these receivers are over 6 feet tall. Robert Woods played with Goff in LA. Noah Brown's a monster. Ben Skoranek. What do you think, Flannel, about either John Mechie? That's what I'm talking about, JB. John Mechie or any of the other receivers on this?
Out of this list,
Quintez Cephas.
No.
Bring him home.
good guess, KG. I was thinking about it, but then I'm like, nah.
Nah, I'm
All
talking.
right. I would consider it for Noah Brown. And at this point, God, you know what? I'm not going to go as far to say that I would do it, but Noah Brown last season with the Texans, he was low-key a demon. When he was on the field, he was at times C.J. Stroud's second favorite target after Nico Collins, even above Tank Dell. Noah Brown had almost 600 receiving yards in 10 games last year. He went down with injury, but he's a big body receiver. He can stretch the field. He was over 17 yards per catch last season. And Noah Brown, in a perfect world, given what the Lions need, could play a role that, I don't know, a DJ Chark did in 2022. He would be the one that I would consider dangling James Houston at least as a trade piece. But at the end of the day, if James Houston isn't contributing to this team, you've got issues at edge rusher, which, as KG said, that concerns me more than issues at a traditional X receiver. But Noah Brown, I wouldn't be mad.
I almost forgot they had John Mechie. They got so many receivers over there, man. But I would love John Mechie. He's younger, but Robert Woods is a name that I'm looking at. Somebody that's played with Jared Goff. He's a veteran in this league. He can come in and help right away. No, he's not going to blow you, off the field like he once did. But I like that name a lot as compared to the other ones.
Yeah. Chuck Brewer says, Broder, I'm not a huge Houston guy, but I'm not trading him for a wide receiver 3 at best. That's fair. That's fair. These are all part of the consideration. Let me just throw one more at you real quick, and then we'll actually get to some Lions talk. JB, can you throw up the Panthers one? Yeah. Because this receiver, although maybe isn't the most exciting name, played in the NFC North, reliable. I think of Josh Reynolds type, just a wide receiver who can get a little bit of separation, even in his older years. Would you consider Adam Thielen?
I'd consider it.
It's solid.
Absolutely.
Yeah. For James Houston?
Consider it, because I know it's going to be clipped up as like Sam saying get rid of James Houston and bring in Adam Thielen. But Adam,
he was productive last year.
He was over 1,000 yards last year.
He was wide receiver 1 over there.
He was. And people think of him as just a slot guy, but he can play out wide. He's 6'2". He can – I'm not saying stretching the field is his number one asset, but he can do it, I think, better than people think. He's one of those guys that when you need a first down, he's been as reliable as they come in the entire NFL back to his time with the Minnesota Vikings. I actually think that he would be at his best, maybe even a Josh Reynolds archetype, maybe a little bit less of an outside guy, but in terms of getting first downs, in terms of making the big catches, Adam Thielen would almost be like a Josh Reynolds, like a supercharged Josh Reynolds. So I would consider that. Out of all of the ones that you've mentioned, I would consider Noah Brown and I'd consider Adam Thielen.
And just a quick question. Since we're talking about trading him today, yesterday it was more like he might be on the fringe. Is there anything James Houston can do between now and the regular season to raise that trade value? Or is this something that maybe pushes into the regular season?
Well, I think it's now or never to consider a trade like this for him, like pre-cut day. If you're going to keep him on the 53-man, even the practice squad, you still have hope in James Houston. This is more if they're going to cut him, like maybe try to go get something for him. But, a good game on Saturday sure raises his trade value, also probably raises the Lions' interest in keeping him.
Yeah, that's fair.
And Adam Thielen,
that's a great answer.
The Panthers, they added Deontay Johnson. They have Mingo, Xavier Legette, Terrace Marshall. So they're young. Although he's reliable and they might want him with Bryce Young, he's expendable for them. They're not going to compete this year. So we'll see. Those are two fun scenarios there. I appreciate it. I'm excited to talk Lions here in the next segment. Going to review the injuries. We're going to talk offense. There are 5 to 6 spots open, says Dan Campbell. Where does Sione Vaki fit on there? We'll catch you next.
Hey, what a tease. What a tease. You're the best at that. I can tell you about something else that is the best. It's Premier Pet Supply. Give your pet the best. It's Michigan's best pet store. They offer you the same prices and all the conveniences of the online and big box retailers with one major difference. They've been family and locally owned for over 30-plus years. They carry over 60 brands of food and nutrition experts to help you. Same day, local curbside, and home delivery. Premier Pet Supply. Give your pet the best. www.premierpetsupply.com.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Is that an octopus in your pants, or are you just happy to see me? See what I did there? Go Red Wings! From Octopi experts, Woodward Sports.
The Ally Challenge presented by McLaren is back August 22nd through 25th at Warwick Hills and Grand Blanc. Be there for PGA Tour Champions Golf, Family Night, concerts, and more. Tickets start at just $15. Get yours at allychallenge.com today.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody!
The Ally Challenge is presented by McLaren. It's back August 22nd through the 25th at Warwick Hills. That's right, the PGA Tour Championship, it returns. Y'all, listen, this event is huge. Like, the winner is getting $2 million. So you can leave the golf to the pros. And what do you get? Got to meet us at hole 17. KG know about hole 17, right?
That hole tight.
Hey, that hole tight. Hey,
That hole is tight.
$2 birdie beers, concerts, and more. To figure out that and more, get your tickets at allychallenge.com. Brought to you by Randy Wise Automotive.
How would you like $10 of free products from Dispo Dispensary? Screenshot this image with the QR code and bring it into any Dispo location, and you'll get a free $10 to spend in store with a minimum purchase of $25. Visit Dispo Dispensary today or disposhops.com. Dispo Dispensary, your local cannabis plug.
And we are back. Thank you guys for choosing to kick off today with the WUW Crew. We got the entire WUW Crew and even some chat family here as well. You guys remember intern Chase. He started as chat family. Now he's in the building. We got Freddie Felt in the building as well.
Yes, sir.
Decked out in the Detroit gear from head to almost toe. Almost. But hey JB.
What's up?
Are we able to satisfy the like button yet? It's cool if not. Oh, no music. But hey.
Oh, there it is. Hey. Hey, you know it's the middle of the week, man. It's time to relax and unwind. Ooh, go ahead, hit him, Kool-Aid. Hit him with that note. Woo.
It's back.
That boy can sing.
Cooking.
That boy can sing.
Y'all got to smash that like button, man. We talking Detroit Lions training camp, man. And we're talking the running backs as well. One of the ones that I am intrigued by, because I feel like I know who David Montgomery is, though there are some really good reports about him. I feel like I know Jahmyr Gibbs is going to take that next step, and he has a lot of hype. But somebody that we've talked about since the draft process is Sione Vaki.
Yep.
You know, I am ecstatic about him. Broder, you were one of the first to kind of bring him to this platform as well. I'm ecstatic about him.
Oh yeah. No, he's somebody who, if we're talking about preseason superstars, which we don't really, I mean, what does that mean? I think people have varying definitions of it. But Sione Vaki, I think when you're looking at preseason type superstars, you look at somebody who belongs. You look at somebody who is as advertised. And Sione Vaki, he looked shifty out there. He looked fast. He looked like he could be someone that could even run between the tackles a little bit better than we think. He looked like somebody who, at his ceiling, and I'm not saying this is ever going to happen, could be one of the better pass-catching running backs in the NFL. You're basically seeing a little bit lesser of what he was at Utah, just a playmaker that when the ball is in his hands, you gasp and you think, man, maybe he can even take it to the house. Maybe he can turn a 2-yard gain into a 5 or 6 yard gain, or even more than that. So Sione Vaki, in terms of preseason standouts, he's got to be near the top.
Yeah, and as we start talking, as we start predicting the final 53-man roster, I imagine most of us, if not all of us, would almost guarantee that he's on it, which means that they're likely keeping 4 running backs. Yeah. Having him as a running back on the depth chart, but he's versatile, and that everything you just said, he's versatile. And the 33rd team put out a graphic yesterday that just showed how versatile he's been. Yes, in 2 preseason games, but there's a graphic of all-purpose yards. He's one of the top 10 rookies so far in preseason in terms of all-purpose yards from scrimmage. Here's an AI predicts the Lions running back room stats. There is another one if you have it. There's one other one if you got that up too. But he's been great. Sione Vaki is looking like a steal that Brad Holmes and Dan Kimmel went up and got. And yes, they were the only ones in the draft who went and drafted him primarily as a running back. I don't know why I was getting challenged on that on our show Monday, but he was drafted as a running back.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I'm excited about this room. We were talking about him yesterday, mostly Gibbs and Montgomery in that category. Okay, are there 4 running backs ahead of the Bears? You know, where does Aaron Jones and Josh Jacobs fit? But those 2 are great. You start adding the versatility of Vaki on this, like how good can this running back room be? Is it the number 1 running back room in the NFL?
Yes.
Top to bottom, 1 through 4.
I like that.
Yeah,
No
sure.
hesitation.
For sure. Yes, 100%.
Not even a pump fake.
No. If we're thinking, if
They
I'm
are.
just-
I agree.
Let's go.
If I'm just gonna give a couple
Get me
that,
fired up some
that
more.
I would be excited about if
Pop
I
your
were
shit.
fans of their respective teams, I would say that the Miami Dolphins have a potentially good one. Although I think Mostert takes a step back, but A-Chain could be one of the top running backs of the NFL this year if he's healthy. And then you even look at a team like the Cleveland Browns potentially, who saw Jerome Ford step up, and if Nick Chubb can come back sometime this season, they could be a pretty lethal running back duo. But right now, it is the Lions. And it's the Lions even if you take Sione Vaki out of it. But if he is somebody who contributes to this team, if he's somebody that can even touch the ball 10 to 15 times this year and make something happen, that just elevates the ceiling to this running back room to a point to where it's one of the better running back rooms we've seen in the last decade.
Yeah,
if
It's going to be interesting to me as well. You bring this many running backs into the regular season, but you have a couple of them that you also identify as weapons in Jahmyr Gibbs and maybe Sione Vaki, the way that they utilize him as a pass catcher.
Yep.
So to me, I'm just wondering, like, what is Ben Johnson cooking up with this offense? Because I absolutely loved, and we want to see this translate to the regular season, but I love the way that Vaki was able to catch the ball and punch it for the first downs several times in a row and be reliable for the quarterback. You know, and when you're talking about being able to, I don't know if they're going to do this, but potentially run Jahmyr Gibbs out to the wide receiver slot with the Vaki still in the backfield, it just gives them a whole dearth of pass catchers and playmakers on the field, to the point that it makes me a little bit more comfortable. Yeah, I have questions about the wide receivers, the depth there, but it makes me more comfortable knowing that we got really some playmaker depth overall.
Yes, and you look at just look at those numbers. And I understand in preseason it's more about how you got them and how you looked than your actual numbers, but I see 5 yards a carry and 15 yards a catch. That's not exactly what he did in Utah, because what he did at Utah was like even far surpassed that. But in terms of translating to the NFL, as I said before, if Sione Vaki, at least in the Lions' immediate Super Bowl window, can be somebody who just makes big plays when he's called upon, even if it's not very often, that's all you really need, especially while David Montgomery is still here. And maybe in the future, it makes David Montgomery easier to part ways with.
Yeah, we look at how they've ramped up the rookies in the past, even Gibbs last year. Like, we're not going to – Ben Johnson isn't going to rush Vaki 12 times and throw him the ball, target him 7 times in week 1. Like, we're going to use him strategically for the first 7-8 weeks and just continue to ramp him up. This is his first time ever focusing on running back full time. Like, he was a safety at Utah before he started playing running back because of injury. So it's like Bobby Boucher getting the call off of being the water boy to going at linebacker. This is his first time really playing running back. How good can he be? And we look at those stats that AI predicted from the 33rd team. This is a pretty fearsome threesome. And we don't expect Craig Reynolds to produce much from a number standpoint. He's there as a reliable number 3, a really good pass. He's the best pass protector in this running back room. But these 3 are your playmakers. We got David Montgomery, Gibbs, and Vaki. You just see the balance of rushes, touches. Gibbs and Vaki can do so many things. So I think that how that pairs with David Montgomery, what Ben Johnson can do, Flannel, is going to be or has potential to be special.
This is AI. This isn't like a Lions fan for us.
You're right.
If these numbers actually oh my goodness,
That
if
would
these
be
numbers
crazy.
actually come to fruition, if Jahmyr Gibbs has almost 1,600 total yards and 16 touchdowns, if David Montgomery gets 945 rushing yards and 12 touchdowns, if Sione Vaki gets 512 total yards, we're talking about one of the best running games we've ever seen as NFL fans. And I don't think that, at least in our time watching it, I don't think that's a
Over
hot take.
500 touches for the running back room. And you know what? I'd be here for it.
I don't think that's a hot take at all. And to me, that's exactly about the proportion at what I would like to see. I would like Jahmyr Gibbs to get the lion's share of the touches. I would prefer David Montgomery to be more of the change of pace, because I think Jahmyr Gibbs is more talented than David Montgomery and has a much higher ceiling even this year. But if 73 touches for 512 total yards, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
If he gets 73 touches, I think that total yards might even be closer to 600.
Yeah.
But if it's just that, we're talking about 33 touchdowns between the three. And that's AI. This isn't Lion Slappy doing this. This is AI. No bias. I love to see it.
Hey, shout out to Mr. Detroit City in the chat as well. He said, Sam contributes 100 times more to WSN than what Houston contributes to the Lions.
I wouldn't say
Well,
that. I don't think I flashed as high as James Houston has, but I think I've had more good days than James Houston has.
And Flannel, what did Dan Campbell say he likes yesterday? Just a slow, steady ride. You don't need to go straight up
so
to
you
the
saying
ceiling.
that Flannel is a Dan Campbell guy.
Flannel's just Mr. Consistent.
Let's rock.
Yeah, you don't mess with Flannel.
I would definitely be a Dan Campbell guy. Of like a Dan Campbell guy of sportscasters. I would say that.
Definitely.
I love when Flannel's just talking, popping his collar.
Yeah, Flannel, there are some good running back rooms around the NFL that you brought up. Also, Seattle, they got a good running back. The Rams. I'm a really big fan of the Dolphins because they added Jalen Wright out of Tennessee. That's a pretty impressive threesome. But what do you think about the Falcons running back room? Because I want to talk about the Falcons next segment. But what's your first? Is there running back room in the top 5? Bijan, Algier.
Probably, but if I'm the Falcons, I lessen Tyler Algier's role even more than it was last year, and I just let Bijan cook this season because he is primed for a big season. More on that next segment.
Yeah, more on that next segment. Cool. That's what I want to talk about next. What's happening at the top of the NFC? How far up should we expect the Falcons? And are the 49ers and the Cowboys going to be there? Like we thought maybe at the beginning of the season? They're a mess right now.
Hey, let's go.
Esther, do you know what is never a mess?
What?
Buying a car at Les Stanford, of course. It's always a good experience. Hey, they hooked up Spencer Raxter. What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. This is exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC. The same great service that customers have come to know and trust on Woodward Avenue just south of 9 Mile. Check out Les Stanford in Dearborn today at lesstanford.com. Les Stanford Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
At Planet Fitness, you can get everything you need for just $1 down.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Hey, y'all better get on these free fitness training sessions from Planet Fitness.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home?
Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
Join Planet Fitness today and get everything you need for just $1 down. $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends Thursday, July 18th.
The countdown to kickoff is here. Your Detroit Lions are ready for another season of grit. Woodward Sports is your #1 destination for all breaking news and Lions coverage. We are Detroit's #1 sports network. We are Woodward Sports.
The Ally Challenge presented by McLaren is back August 22nd through 25th at Warwick Hills and Grand Blanc. Be there for PGA Tour Champions Golf, Family Night, concerts, and more. Tickets start at just $15. Get yours at allychallenge.com today.
So just to get the heated steering wheel, I also had the spring for the bigger rims.
Yeah, that's how they get you. Those upgrades will cost you an arm and a leg every time.
Hey, new car crew, how'd it go this weekend? I got a great deal on mine.
How?
I went to Randy Wise, not those other guys. They got me in a great new ride, and they didn't break my budget. Hey, could you pass me the sugar?
How?
Never mind.
He made the wise choice.
Yep.
Make the wise choice at randywisechevy.com.
Planet Fitness, fitness that fits your budget. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. At Planet Fitness, you experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment, friendly, knowledgeable staff, and a totally judgment-free atmosphere. Did you know that all Planet Fitness memberships include fitness training for no extra cost? Want all the perks? Upgrade to the PF Black Card and enjoy use of amenities such as unlimited use of the Black Card Spa, featuring hydro massage, massage chairs, and total body enhancement, and more, along with access to over 2,500 locations worldwide and unlimited guest privileges. For more information or to join today, visit your local Planet Fitness or planetfitness.com.
And we are back. What up, though, people? It is Wake Up Woodward. Thank you guys for kicking off the day with the WUW Crew. We got everybody in the building. That dude, Justin, intern Chase. We got Detroit's #1 drive picking the sound booth, KG. Woodward Sports MVP in the TD booth. That is JB Smooth. Matthew Broder, our credentialed Tigers, and our Lions reporter and writer. Fed of the network over here, Flannel Sam. and your boy Brandon Dan, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid. Cover the Pistons around here. Shout out to Freddie Feld as well, chat family member. He is live in studio. And you know what? A lot is going on in the NFC, including the Detroit Lions as a contender. But who else are the powers in the NFC? Who's going to be at the top with them? And one team that I always hear that's going to be there at the start of the season, but by the end of the season, they always fall flat. It's the Dallas Cowboys.
How about them Cowboys?
and as of right now, I want to let Broder cook on this one, but I think the difference between one of the big differences between the Lions and the Cowboys right now is that the Cowboys, they've got a core of Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Micah Parsons, and none of them are signed long term. Whereas the Lions, you've got Goff, you've got Amon-Ra, and you've got Penei all locked up. And whatever you think about those players, particularly Dak Prescott, if the Cowboys were to get it done with all three of those guys, they're going to be a factor at least in the regular season. Even Dak Prescott, who had a really good regular season last year, just didn't do so well in the playoffs as per usual. But there's so much uncertainty with your best players, and imagine if they don't get it done with those guys. They'll be effed beyond belief.
Yeah, what is Ezekiel Elliott going to run them to the first place?
Right.
Like, what are we doing here? It's time to stomp on the Dallas Cowboys.
It's
time for them. We need to stop following this national narrative that the Cowboys are going to be Super Bowl contenders. Yes, if they sign Parsons and Prescott and CeeDee Lamb and they play all 17 games, they're going to be a factor in the regular season. But that's it. That's it. They're a complete mess.
It's all that they've ever proven. And you know what? I've deliberated on this, and I was like, you know what? I'm tired of crying about why do we have to go back to Jerry's world? Why is the NFL this, that? I don't care anymore. You're exactly right. The Detroit Lions are the team that is primed and set up to really take control in this NFC. The Cowboys, they've had their opportunities. They've had the media, the national media, just lathering them up and just running laps around everybody else, talking about what this team is going to be. This is the year that I just want the Detroit Lions to absolutely dismantle the Cowboys in Jerry's world. And they're not going to leave it quiet, because I know that Detroit Lions fans are going to be rabid, insane sickos, and they're going to be there in person as well. It is time to really end this narrative. For the last 2 years, we've heard this kind of new narrative cropping up that the Detroit Lions are probably the new America's team. Let's just go on ahead and just staple that on this year. Take out the Cowboys, because it's time. Look at their structure and how they're set up versus the Lions. Go out there and be a big boy team.
Well, you touched on it, Broder. And I mean no disrespect to this man's prime in his early career, because I think it gets slept on a little bit. But if your starting running back in 2024 is Ezekiel Elliott, that's an embarrassment.
Yep.
He's been cooked for the last couple of years, and nothing's going to change. If this were 2016 and your starting guard was Zach Martin and your starting running back was Ezekiel Elliott, I'd be like, that's amazing, because at the time they may have been the best at their respective positions. And Zach Martin is still okay, but he's not what he once was. But Zeke Elliott, he's done. I don't know how old he is. He's like 31 going on 45. That's basically what he is right now. And if you're the Cowboys and you're thinking of contending and Ezekiel Elliott is your starting running back, good luck. As a Liam Neeson, or not Liam Neeson, the guy who took Liam Neeson's daughter says, good luck.
Good luck. And how about this? We talked the Cowboys. How about the 49ers? I'm just about at that point, too. Because with no Trent Williams, we act like this isn't a big deal. No Trent Williams is a huge deal. A massive deal. One of the best left tackles in the history of the game. We don't know if he's playing week one. I don't think he needs much training camp, but we don't know what's going on there. The Ayuk mess. Debo will play 12 games this season. McCaffrey is the best running back in the league, but you can't predict when he's going to start to decline, but at some point I wouldn't want to run behind that San Francisco 49ers line without Trent Williams.
It's always been more mid than you think without Trent Williams, and if he's not there, this 49ers could get exposed. I'm not ready to go there with the Niners just yet. Put them in the Cowboys territory, because we've seen it with the Cowboys over how long of a sample size do you want at this point, that they're going to get to the playoffs and they're going to do absolutely nothing. The 49ers are still the team that ended the Lions season last year, and they still have guys like Kittle, they still have McCaffrey, they still have Debo, they might even be having Ayuk if they can get that deal done. They still have Bosa, they still have Fred Warner, they're getting Hufanga back, they added Leonard Floyd, they still have Charvarius Ward. I I actually think it's a little bit disrespectful to the 49ers to be including them in the Cowboys in terms of messes. They have some uncertainties, and Trent Williams could hit them hard. But I'm not ready to just send them out to pasture just yet. That could be something that backfires.
They got a lot of money decisions coming up, and
do.
That's why I didn't go all the way there yet. I'm close. Trent Williams is a huge part. They got money issues coming up, and Purdy. Say what you want about where he ranks in the NFL. He's going to be another one that might reset the market again, depending on what happens with Dak. Purdy, they're going to re-sign him.
Yes.
And I think it's got to be after this season. It's coming up, so they got big money decisions to be made, but. What you talked about on Friday, Flannel, I couldn't stop thinking about over the weekend. It's these Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
And I want to pose this question to you guys. 2 weeks ago, I thought Michael Penix might have been the dumbest draft pick in the 2024 NFL draft, or at least the one that had me scratching my head the most. 2 weeks later, is it like the best draft pick, or is it the smartest, most long-term planning move in that draft pick? They got Kirk for 2 years. Penix looks great. They've already sat him because he's the number 2. But they've now filled out that roster with Judon, with Justin Simmons. They have one of the best offensive lines in the game. Judon, to me, though, this move before Justin Simmons, that solidified it. They needed edge rusher. They needed quarterback pressure. That was their one biggest hole, and they took care of it.
Yeah, which is why I say, and I said it on Friday, and I'll say it again, the team that might be the biggest threat to the Lions in terms of getting the 1 seed are these Atlanta Falcons. Just think about last season. They were competitive for a lot of the year, even though they needed a quarterback and they needed an edge rusher in ways that, a starving man needs food. They were praying to the high heavens for even somebody like Kirk Cousins and Matthew Judon, and by golly, they got him. And shout out to them. Matthew Judon was 100% a power move. I know he was hurt last year, but a defensive line in which you have Matthew Judon, Grady Jarrett, and David Onyemata, that's kind of scary. And for those of you who aren't as well versed on David Onyemata, he's basically the Falcons' Aleem McNeil. He's a damn good player. And what they did in the secondary, adding Justin Simmons to a safety room that has Jesse Bates, and you got AJ Terrell playing corner. Like, low key, the Atlanta Falcons at the end of this season, they might have the best secondary in the NFL, the second best O-line in the NFL, and maybe the best running back. I wouldn't put that past the Atlanta Falcons to have all of that. And oh, by the way, they've got a pretty damn easy schedule. They have some tough games. They go to Philly. They play Kansas City. But do you know what is going to put the Falcons over the top in terms of potentially getting the 1 seed?
Kirko Chains?
That's one of them. But in terms of schedule-wise, they get to play the Carolina Panthers twice.
Yeah.
They don't have... think about even when it comes to the Detroit Lions. Is there any team in the NFC South besides the Atlanta Falcons that's as good as the Packers? I would say no. That's and when
Packers
it comes to
are winning that division.
No,
is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that they would finish second to the Atlanta Falcons, but they're better than what the Buccaneers, Saints, or of course the Carolina Panthers are. So my point is, don't be surprised if the Falcons have a huge year. And just having Kirk Cousins back there instead of Desmond freaking Ridder, who's one of the worst and most boring quarterbacks you'll ever
Big
see.
difference.
Imagine what that could potentially do to unlock Drake London, to unlock Kyle Pitts, to make it easier for Bijan Robinson, because he's not the only offensive weapon that defenses are keying on.
And no Arthur Smith to mismanage Bijan, because last year Bijan's numbers should have been way better than what they were, but mismanagement by Arthur Smith, and of course their quarterback situation was a whole mess. So I think you have to take them seriously at this point.
And the worst part about Desmond Ridder, and which is why I think that Drake London and Kyle Pitts do backflips at practice every single day, is Desmond Ridder is not only bad, he's boring. He doesn't, at least with the Minnesota Vikings when they had Nick Mullins, he was slinging that thing, oftentimes to the Detroit Lions, but Justin Jefferson was putting up huge numbers. With Desmond Ridder, as I said on Friday, nobody can have a 17 for 26, 134-yard game like Desmond Ridder. Nobody can complete that big 3rd and 10 4-yard pass quite like Desmond Ridder. I would rather I would rather watch a 10-year-old play quarterback than a Desmond Ridder. That's how bad and boring and uninspiring he is, and how depressing must it have been for Drake London and Kyle Pitts. And now, Kirk Cousins probably looks like Joe Montana to them right now.
But here, they made a lot of investments at the quarterback position, both in free agency with Kirk Cousins and in the draft with Penix. And they still, in my opinion, are a very, very, very big question mark for the Falcons' future success. Not based on Kirk Cousins' talent or lack thereof, but because of the injury history, as well as for Michael Penix. How big of an issue do you think it could be for them?
Coming back from Achilles is a tough, but I think Kirk Cousins will be just fine. And as you said, I'm not ready to say that Michael Penix is the smartest draft pick now, but it does give them some insurance. Mm-hmm. They had to do something to add a pass rusher, and they did. They didn't really do it in the draft, at least early on. I know they got Braylon Trice later, but they got Matthew Judon. Matthew Judon might turn out to be one of the prizes of this class, of these offseason moves, particularly given the need that he was for the Atlanta Falcons. As an NFL fan, I can't wait to watch this team.
Yeah.
You
could argue Kirk and Judon are probably two top 5 offseason moves around the NFL for that specific teams. Where was it? I have a question from Ryan's reaction for you. But also, Steve DeYoung mentioned the 2024 Falcons are the 2020 Commanders, default division champs by default of how terrible the other 3 teams are. The Bucs aren't terrible, but I think the point is their division is weak.
I'm pretty sure that 2020 Commanders team won the division with a losing record with Taylor Heineke playing in the playoffs. That's a little bit different. And I might be wrong. The Falcons might fall on their face, and that would actually be good for the Lions, because I would trust I don't think that the Buccaneers, Saints, I'm not even going to include the Panthers, the Buccaneers or the Saints are any threat whatsoever to get the 1 seed if they so win that division. It's just with the Falcons, their ceiling, I don't know how you can pick any other team as a potential threat to the Lions other than the Atlanta Falcons.
What about this? And JB, if Rad comes on, cut me off mid-sentence, but
I got
Ryan's reaction asks, Broder, asks Flannel, over or under Vegas odds 9.5 wins for the Falcons.
Over.
Is that almost a guaranteed now with this roster and schedule?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
I've got them at 11 or 12.
All right.
I really do.
Yeah. All right.
Just given they don't have to play the 49ers or the Lions.
Yeah.
That's big.
Default champions.
Yeah.
Huge.
And again, that doesn't mean that the Falcons are going to make noise in the playoffs. They could be what the Vikings were in 2022 and get clapped by a team like the Giants in the first round. It's just 1 seeds, as Sean Baligian said on Friday, sometimes it's random. Sometimes you get everything going your way for a year, and come playoff time, it doesn't matter, and you get exposed. That could happen to the Falcons as well.
Especially with Kirk O'Chains back there.
Sure.
It's Mr. Primetime back there, man.
And that's 1,000% fair.
Like the quarterback position for them, though they invested heavily in it, still a pretty big question mark for me with the Falcons.
What if he unlocks Kyle Pitts? I
don't know, man.
just about moved on from him until they made that trade. Like, we can say what we want about Kirk as a playoff winner, but he's a competent quarterback. He puts up yardage. He puts up stats. Yeah. Kirk's a fine quarterback.
If he had more playoff success, we'd be talking about him as a potential future Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
That's how good his regular season numbers have been.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
I tipped the cap on that.
And that's the thing. That's where having Kirk Cousins as opposed to Mr. 145-yard every game Desmond Ridder is going to really make things a lot more enjoyable for a Drake London, because I think that Drake London is. I don't think he's that much worse than like a Garrett Wilson or Chris Olave.
Not at all.
I don't think that Kyle Pitts has really dropped off at all. It's just you had freaking Marcus Mariota the year before, who's kind of the same thing, just like boring and vanilla.
That dipped on the team.
Yeah, and then you had something even worse than that in Desmond Ridder. What are you supposed to do if you're a receiver? You're going to suffer because of that.
The corpse of Matt Ryan. Yeah, it's been bad for Kyle Pitts.
Hey,
it's been bad.
With the corpse of Matt Ryan, Kyle Pitts actually put up an 1,000-yard year.
That's true.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, which shows you don't even have to be. We're not saying Kirk Cousins is a superstar. We're saying that Kirk Cousins is going to put up numbers, and he's got a really good. He might have the best situation around him he's ever played with.
Yeah, Zach Soap, Kirk Cousins is Aaron Rodgers light. Demon Dice. I'm glad y'all are entertained by a clown coach, Dan Campbell, bro.
What?
Wow.
Demon Dice.
Damn.
I think he's a Chicago fan.
Where do your loyalties lie? Are you a Bear? I know you in the chat.
I've seen him in the
Is he a
chat.
Bears guy?
I think he's a Bears fan.
Come on, bring the heat. Bring the heat. Enjoy your interior offensive line. Yeah, I'm flexing IOL. No, NFC North, man, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough one. Let's take a break. I think we got Rod on or coming on here in a second, but we'll pay some bills so we're ready for that, man.
Hey, definitely. Thank you guys for staying tapped in with Wake Up Woodward every day, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Hope you guys have hit that like button. Let's zoom through that like goal. And also, make sure you're supporting everybody else at Woodward Sports. Start with Big D Energy right after our show from 11 to 1. You got 4-time Stanley Cup champion winner Darren McCarty alongside the Golden Voice Neil Rule. After that, from 2 to 4, Armani and Edwards with Mass. You got University of Michigan great Braylon Edwards with Tom Nazway and Detroit Media King Fox 2 Ryan Armani. Then end the day with the Woodward Heavyweights from 5 to 7. The big fellas. Speak Easy and Spin Mo Racks and their elite booth, Nick Koloff, Chris Platty, and the entire Woodward Heavyweights crew. Hey, they're bringing you the biggest interviews, breakdowns, and laughs. Most importantly, thank you guys for choosing Woodward Sports as your #1 digital sports outlet. We appreciate you.
The Great American Chevy Week is back and bigger than ever at Feldman Chevrolet. Choose from the largest inventory of award-winning Chevys, all priced to move for the biggest week of the year. Get this 2024 Silverado for only $213 a month, or this 2024 Equinox for as low as $249 a month. Feldman takes the Great American Chevy Week to another level. Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Dealing with divorce, child custody, visitation, or other family law issues, Kevin and Catherine at KDK Law in Birmingham will have your back. With 10-plus years of experience and 24/7 availability. Scan the QR code on the screen or call 248-971-0476. Say Woodward Sports sent you and KDK will pay your filing fee. KDK Law, they've got your back.
Don't let her do it.
KDK Law got your back. Woodward Sports and Wake Up Woodward got your back. I'm telling y'all, Soroki's is fire. They got your back for lunch. But shout out, though, to Detroit News sports editor-in-chief, absolute legend of a human being and a professional. That is Rod Beard. Welcome to the show, brother. How you feeling?
Oh, no. I was hopeful, man. I was hopeful.
It was hopeful. No, I know we'll get it together because I want to be able to get Rod's thoughts as well on kind of this NFC powers thing. The top of the NFC, and what team should we be absolutely just, you know what, we're mollywopping? The Cowboys are one of those teams. The NFC, the 49ers, though, that's one that I'm not scared of.
You shouldn't be.
I'm not scared of, but I'm not ready to say, you know what, that's a squad that we're absolutely mollywopping.
The funny thing about the 49ers is, and I didn't even mention Kyle Shanahan, the only question about them is the Super Bowl.
Yep. Can't get over the hump.
I mean, Kyle Shanahan is one of the best coaches I think I've ever, maybe one of the best coaches ever through the NFC Championship game. When it comes to the Super Bowl, though, there's been some questionable decisions that have led to multiple double-digit leads being blown.
And it's just the way the injuries pile up for them. And if you really just pay attention to their playoff run last year, they escaped in a lot of those games, man. Finally getting put down by the Chiefs. But I'm not sold on them going forward as, you know, a superpower anymore. Yes, they're still good. You have to respect their talent. But at this point, man, after what I saw last year, they are on the ropes, man. You ain't going to get too many more cracks at the apple. Ask the Bills.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, with this NFC, it's interesting because the way things started last year, we were told we had to fear the Cowboys. We were told we had to fear the Eagles. But the way things shook out, it was the 49ers, and it was honest. Obviously, they told us to fear the 49ers, and we put them in that rarefied air. But as we got closer to that Cowboys game, I remember we were doing a show. You were in the sound booth. And I was like, you know what? I don't know why we should be afraid of the Cowboys. And when they went out there and they played, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm absolutely, like, on board with where this team is headed. Because I know we had some concerns about what they did or didn't address during that trade deadline, but they had a pulse on exactly what the NFC was and how to maintain at least their place amongst the top of the NFC.
You know what I didn't even mention about the Dallas Cowboys? They did nothing in free agency.
Absolutely
Their
zero.
number one get was literally the corpse of Zeke Elliott.
I was about to say, man, they got Ezekiel Elliott.
Hey, 2016, great move. But right now in a 2024, it was the fact that the Dallas Cowboys, their best free agent acquisition was Zeke Elliott, and they haven't signed long-term neither Dak, CD, or Micah Parsons. How can you have both of those things be true? Yeah. That's why you don't make big splashes in free agency, because you got to free things up to re-sign your stars, and they haven't done any of them. The Cowboys' fall might be more precipitous and more soon than maybe we even anticipate, because they need those guys, and if they don't have them, they're a 5-win football team soon.
And I'm hoping that the Detroit Lions are part of making that fall sooner rather than later. Let's ask Rod about that, man. Is he back on with us?
Maybe.
There you go. Let's Rod.
Right.
Hey, Rod, thank you for your time, brother. As always, it's good to have you on. And we're talking about kind of the powers at the top of the NFC. Things changed really drastically from the start of last season to where the NFC shook out at the end. This year, we're ready to throw some dirt on top of the Cowboys. And I believe that the Detroit Lions are a big boy team. They're definitely going to prove that they belong. So the 49ers is a team, though, we're not necessarily ready to kind of throw the dirt on. But I wanted your take on kind of the NFC powers.
Yeah, I think the Lions are right there. I think you've got to put them with all of your 49ers, your Dallas, if you're going to say Phillies right there. Lions have to be right. The question I have is, we haven't seen anything in the preseason, and we're just assuming that the offense is going to jump back and click the way that it was. The defense didn't look great against Patrick Mahomes. Not a lot of defenses are. But I just have questions about whether this is going to be, when you play that first week, is it going to be what we think it is? We're just making that assumption, but it really needs to be that, especially on the defensive side.
Yeah, and speaking of the preseason, and I don't know how much you can really take from it, but is there any player but is there any player or players that really stood out to you as guys that maybe are contributors to this team this year and moving forward?
Jacob Ezekiel Bates can be a contributor to this team. If you have that kicking thing down, and if he's making 56-yarders, it changes the calculus of what you have to do and how much Dan Campbell is going to have to gamble, because sometimes you take the 3. If you feel confident about that 3, and they didn't feel that good about it last year, but again, if you feel like you can make 56, sometimes you're just going to take that 3 and be good with it.
Hey, Rod, pleasure talking to you again. Thanks for joining us today. I want to ask you.
Welcome back.
Yeah. Let's go. We're in studio this Wednesday. Nice to have this happen again. But have you ever seen, in your time covering sports, the reunion that we witnessed last night in Chicago for Mr. Javy Baez? 0 for 4, 4 strikeouts, tip of the cap. Javy.
Look at Ryan's face.
Tip of the sombrero. I mean, that's just why are we doing welcome back for Javy Baez in Chicago with the Cubs? Like, what is that? It's not Miggy coming back. It's not, I don't know. It's not Ben Wallace coming back. I'm done with Javy Baez conversation.
Thank you.
You about to upset Ryan.
That's just madness.
Okay, perfect. Then I'll hit you with a more exciting question, maybe. Is Ryan Day head coach at Ohio State University. Is he coaching for his job this year? Like, is this the final year where he's got to not only win the Big Ten, beat Michigan, but also win a natty?
I think it's close to that, because you got to also factor in the additions of all of the Pac-12 schools, that it's not going to be easy. It's not just Michigan or bust. You got to beat Oregon. You got to beat Washington if you're going to win this conference. So it's not going to be quite as easy to do that. I think there is some uneasiness that if Ohio State falls and they get in the 3rd or 4th spot of the Big Ten, then there will be some consternation and some hand-wringing about it. But this year, I think everybody in the Big Ten is just trying to see how this thing is going to shake out.
Morning, Ryan. I wanted to take it back to the Lions real quick and get your thoughts on Hendon Hooker and the whole QB2 situation. You know, a lot of us feel like we've seen enough from Hooker at this point that he should be named the number 2 quarterback. Of course, Dan Campbell came out and said it's still Nate Sudfeld and that they want him, you know, to still develop and learn as we go here. But do you think Dan Campbell was bluffing at all? Is Nate Sudfeld really the number 2, or do you feel confident in Hendon Hooker that he can be in that role?
I'm sold. You're sold. We're not the head coach, though, and that's how this works. Until he comes out and makes something official, fans with eyeballs and legal vision can see that Hendon Hooker is probably the number 2.
No, it's facts.
But anybody else who doesn't, I mean, I don't know what you're watching. That's what you wanted him for. That's why you drafted him, is to be that. I like what he's able to do with his legs. And the thing that I look at with Hendon Hooker, if you're pressed into using him, is when you're dealing with a 3rd and 8. Jared Goff might get you 4 or 5 yards on a 3rd and 8 when he's scrambling. Hendon Hooker's going to get you a first down if that thing breaks out. And if you look at that touchdown, the 7-yard was just kind of a breakdown on the defense. You see an opportunity, and he heads to the end zone. I think that's the difference that he brings that Sudfeld doesn't.
Yes, it was certainly exciting to watch with that touchdown run in particular. But speaking of the preseason, your favorite thing in the world, which of the preseason standouts do you think is more likely to contribute in the regular season? Sione Vaki or Isaiah Williams?
Ooh. Isaiah Williams. I think the opportunity is there at the 3rd receiver for him to step in, and he's been consistent. And as much as you can't take very much from the preseason, you've seen that he has some wiggle to him, and he can get in an open slot and be able to do something. The problem is he's in the slot, and that's where Sun God is. So you're not taking reps from him. You just got to get in where you fit in, and maybe he could play a little bit on the outside is maybe the hope there. But I think he's shown enough where you give him some due consideration that he can be a breakout player.
Hey, man, Rod, you bringing the heat. We got one more segment with the legend on the way, and it's been awesome. But I got to tell you guys about something else that is awesome, is when a guy can be a guy. And you know what? Get an amazing haircut. That's Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. All you got to do is stop in, sit back, and relax. And let one of Lady Jane's talented hairstylists make you look and feel great. Walk in anytime, 7 days a week. Lady Jane's is wicked awesome.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Game is won in the trenches, and our big fellas don't mess around. The Woodward Heavyweights on Woodward Sports.
At Planet Fitness, you can get everything you need for just $1 down.
Try out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Hey, y'all better get on these free fitness training sessions from Planet Fitness.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home?
Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
Join Planet Fitness today and get everything you need for just $1 down. $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends Thursday, July 18th.
Thank you to all the fans for making Woodward Sports your #1 online destination for Detroit sports. We promise not to drop the ball.
Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians, they take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. It's 24/7 professional monitoring, so you can call us anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone with you as long as needed, because it is technology that is backed by people and your safety and security. It deserves technology that's been proven to work and people who have been proven to care. All you got to do is call this number right here, 1-800-STAY-OUT. Once again, that number, 1-800-STAY-OUT. Hey, and we are back. Thank you guys for kicking off today with the WUW Crew. Got the legend Rod Beard on the line, Detroit News Sports Editor-in-Chief. First segment was fire, and you guys already know we got to get the drum roll going for the second one. Let's rock. Hey, yo! Shout out and welcome to the legend, Detroit News Rod Beard again. It is time for our Woodward Pistons segment. Before we jump back into some more Lions, you got to take it away with Rod's thoughts, brother.
I think it is just the dead time of the season where we're worried about what Paul George, James Hart, what they're doing in China, playing in a meaningless exhibition. Twitter's like searching for anything. Like, give it a rest. Go take a vacation. Go do something else. If there's nothing on NBA Twitter, just let it be nothing. But people are just trying to find anything to occupy this downtime, and I'm not for it. I'm for taking a break from all of that stuff.
Hey, listen, man, it's so bad. People are probably like pining for the days of Andre Drummond shooting threes summer videos.
Or the Drew League or something. It's like, okay, there's nothing. So let it be nothing. That's fine. It's okay. There's something else that we can watch or do.
Yeah, definitely, man. And you know what? For me, it's been honestly a needed break, a needed rest. Because the events have been kind of tuned down this offseason, man. They really have. But Ron Holland, he stepped out to be a coach for the day at the Pistons basketball academy. And he had some interesting things to say about what he believes he can be this year. And I want to be able to play a couple of those clips for you guys. Let's play the first one. It's on Ron Holland and his kind of focus this year, his goals, and what he's doing to work to get there. What's been the main focus of some of those workouts for you?
Main focus has been a lot of catch and shoot, a lot of movement shots, and really just attacking out the dribble and really moving without the ball, and then a lot of defense. I really keying in on defense because I know that's one thing that's going to get me and keep me on the floor this year.
Yeah, and I know some people that got questions about, what's Ron Holland going to be on the court this year for you? What's that year one expectation?
Year one expectations. I want to win Rookie of the Year, but my work ethic is going to produce like I'm trying to get it. Whatever the coach, bigger staff, and everybody else on the coaching staff needs me to do, I'm there to do it. Whether it's defend, make shots, give people shots, whatever it is, I'm willing and able to do it, and I feel like I'm going to be available to do it. And really, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability and really just whatever I need to work on and really just sit back and learn and listen to my vets. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and that's Ron Holland. That is the Detroit Pistons first-round draft pick. He was 5th overall pick this year. And I wanted to be able to bring a little bit more content about him because, like you said, fans are out there searching, and scouring for anything. And I realized our past draft picks, they've been heralded. They've gotten the coverage. They've gotten the news. People can go, and if they want to learn or figure out a little bit more about them, they can get that. I wanted to be able to give Ron Holland that opportunity because behind the scenes, the way that this guy works, like you hear him, he's about what he's saying. He wears it really on his sleeve. And Ron Holland is a worker. One of the things that really caught my eye is the fact that he's working a lot on catch and shoot. That to me is music to my ears about Ron Holland, to the point that I do believe even I might be underrating what he could be during his rookie season, Rod.
We've been hurt before. That's the trailer of the movie that just kind of gets everybody excited about Ron Holland, and then something else happens. I'm optimistic, but I'm not going to be unrealistic about what he can bring. Rookie of the Year, people know that that's generally tied to a team with a good record or just somebody who has a really, really good expectations. If the team doesn't do well, it's going to be hard for him to win Rookie of the Year. This isn't a Wemby situation like last year. He's going to have to come out and rock an average 15 to 20 points a game if he's going to be Rookie of the Year, and we'll see if that opportunity is there. I just don't see it right now. I don't know where he's going to get a ton of playing time, but we can wait it out and see.
I want to further the conversation about Rookie of the Year, because I'm looking at this rookie class, and I get it. It's just projections. You never know what's going to happen, but I don't foresee anybody really lighting it up. I could see this being the type of year where somebody like Malcolm Brogdon, like when he won it back for Milwaukee, somebody with numbers like that could potentially win rookie of the year. So is there a pathway for it being Ron Holland, especially since you got guys at the top like Alex Sarr and Zachary Richase who are overseas guys who might be kind of raw?
I think they're going to have more opportunity. I mean, especially in I'm going to call him Alexandre because that's the way he spells it. That's the way I'm saying it. Alexandre is going to have opportunity to do it in Washington, but it's just, where's Ron Holland going to get starters minutes in order to win Rookie of the Year? There aren't reserves who are just going to step in and do that. I think it's going to be, is he playing 25, 30 minutes a game? I don't know. But in order to put up those types of numbers to get that attention on the team that hasn't been winning, that's what you have to do. And if he's not starting, he's going to have to really be economical and efficient in his minutes and put up 15 a game, and everybody else is going to have to be in that same range. That's just harder to do for starters to be able to average something like that and not have somebody pass them.
And you're being real about it, because there is a path for him to get there, but he's going to have to definitely work. He's going to have to definitely improve. And I got the opportunity to ask him about his first impressions of JB Bickerstaff, with the context being on how JB Bickerstaff has helped him and what the message might have been to him up to this point. JB, if you want to roll that.
I got you.
Yes.
What's been the impression of JB Bickerstaff so far?
His main message to me is really just be Ron Holland, be yourself. He knows what I've been. He's kind of watched a lot of film on me, so going into Summer League, he was just telling me just to play hard, bring energy, do the things that I've been doing since I've been in high school, and I feel like that's kind of why I had a lot of success when it came to Summer League.
What are your biggest?
Yeah, and so there's going to be a path for him. A lot of things that JB Bickerstaff is telling him are things that you want out of generally everybody in your roster. And for a young player like that, where you're exactly right, it's going to be tough for him to get minutes unless he's absolutely proven to be head and shoulders above some of even the reserve players we have. Then when they added 3 sure rotation players, 1 solid for sure starter in Tobias Harris, and Malik Beasley started 79 games last year for the Milwaukee Bucks of all teams, next to guys like Giannis and Dame Lillard. So it's like, you know what? I'm not going to discount Ron Holland. Young fella, keep on working. But I do believe that from what I've seen, there might be a little bit more to him if he continues this work with Fred Vincent. The catch and shoot from behind the arc is a thing to me that I believe unlocks everything Ron Holland can be, because we're okay with the athleticism. You know, I think the handles need to tighten up a little bit, but his defense is really, really solid and legit, and he has this kind of team-first mentality. It's really a prototype type of player you want, except for this one aspect of the shooting. So I'm at least excited for the fact that he is working on that. Heavy.
Yeah, and Summer League doesn't show you a lot. Summer League can only really validate what you already know, or maybe give you an opportunity to show something new, and that's essentially it. The mistakes are... You can point to 100 different things about why somebody's not shooting well. Well, that validated something that we thought from before, but does he have a NBA starters level roster around him? No. So you can't really tell as much. He's going to get a little bit more opportunity in Summer League, and he showed some of that stuff. But with Cade, does that help him? With Durant, does that open up some things for him to do something else? Sure, but we've got to see that in the regular season, and the opportunities just have to be there. He's got to do that in training camp and just come out like a rocket and showing that he is just deserving of that playing time. I think he can earn it over time, but the other guys, like I said, are just going to be starters from day one, and he's got to overcome that.
Yeah, right. And in order for the Pistons to elevate in the W column, of course, some of the guys that were here already are going to have to take a step up. I wanted to ask you about Jalen Duren, man. Is it somebody that we're kind of sleeping on a little bit? Should we expect more of the same? Where do you think the next step in Jalen Duren's development is?
I think it's on the defensive end. He's got to be impactful and changing shots on the defensive end and just the rotations and everything else. We've talked about defense just being system and systematic. Is there something that Bickerstaff is bringing in that's going to make the Pistons play better or play differently on D? And that's what I'm interested in seeing. We know what the offense can do when things are clicking. Defensively, can these guys be better?
And you know what? That's been the constant refrain that I've heard, not just from the different members of the coaching staff, even all the way down to the Motor City Cruise head coach, Jamel McMillan, as well as the players that I've gotten to talk to, some of the young guys, as well as some of the more, I guess, our seasoned young guys now as well. And defense is something very, very, very key this year. And I know you hear that all the time, but JB Bickerstaff is a guy who's proven and has that track record with the teams that he's coached that this is something that he actually gets out of his teams. I liked what he did with Cleveland. He went there, they were a 19-game winner, and they were able to flip that thing around in literally one season. One season. The Pistons have some of that recipe here. It's going to be all about how they work. And then for Trajan Langdon, this assessment of these young players. We see the Tigers, they're really going through this process right now. You're starting to get some answers about where they're going. I think that is very crucial for the Pistons to figure that out this season and preferably before we get to that trade deadline. But wanted the people to be able to get a little bit more about Ron Holland and be able to break it down with you. Next week, though, we are going to talk about Jalen Duren, go through a player review. There's a lot that I like. There's a lot that a lot of people like. But we all know that there's some room for improvement, especially in that defensive end, since it's going to be a point of emphasis for JB Bickerstaff. But any last words from you, Rod?
No, I think it's going to be, we talked about the schedule and how difficult that's going to be, but defensive improvement is much harder than offensive improvement. If you're installing new systems that you're doing, people know how to score the ball. But defense is really a chemistry thing, and everybody has to be on the same page about what we're doing. And if you're not doing that, it's going to be a lot harder and a lot slower to come along.
Yep. Thank you, Rod, for your time. As always, the legend, sports editor-in-chief of the Detroit News. And I can't wait to get the new Detroit News Pistons beat writer on as well. Cody, shout out to him as well. Yes, sir.
Cody's in the building. We'll see if we can get him.
Let's rock. Hey, thank you, Rod, as always, and have a great day.
Thank you, Rod.
Thanks, Rod. Have a good Wednesday.
Yes, sir. And let me tell you guys about Swiss Insurance. Now more than ever, it is critical for you to have your insurance reviewed. Swiss will make sure that your current carrier is not slipping in anything extra, especially no extra fees or raising your deductibles. All you got to do, call our guy Mark at Swiss Insurance today, the number 313-530-1698, or visit them online, swissins.com, and let them know that Woodward Sports sent you.
So just to get the heated steering wheel, I also had the spring for the bigger rims.
Yeah, that's how they get you. Those upgrades will cost you an arm and a leg every time.
Hey, new car crew, how'd it go this weekend? I got a great deal on mine.
How?
I went to Randy Wise, not those other guys. They got me in a great new ride, and they didn't break my budget. Hey, could you pass me the sugar?
How?
Never mind.
He made the wise choice.
Yep.
Make the wise choice at randywisechevy.com.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda. A chef for Lola, really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody! It's bear hunting season, and Dan Campbell is hungry for some kneecaps.
If you can just get a hold of them and you start dragging their ass out to the deep, dark abyss, you can drown them.
The Kings of the North are back for another year of the brand new Lions. Make sure you're locked in to Detroit's #1 sports network for all the news and info on your Detroit Lions.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Did somebody say merge? Look, do yourself a favor, head over to woodwardsports.com, click on that shop tab. We are dropping new designs every single week, but I got to tell you about the ones we got up here on screen. We got the Stoke Not Scared shirts, which I hope you have right now. Kool-Aid should have a bunch of these in his closet right now, but he still got those Welcome to Detroit sign shirts. I don't know why. But we also got the hashtag Boo the Children, Boo the Kids out right now that you should be wearing when we face Matthew Stafford and those Rams. And you can't forget about the Woodward Tigers. You still got to support them, even though Javi, I don't know what you're doing, man. But anyway, head over to woodwardsports.com, click on the shop tab. New designs every single week. Go get swagged out.
Oh, man. Go get swagged out. And you know what? Listen, never give up on the Detroit sign shirts, people. I'm going to make sure that JB Smooth has another one of those wrapped up for Christmas.
I'm
good.
good.
I got you, brother. I got you. Welcome back. It's Wake Up Woodward. Thank you guys for kicking off the day with the WUW Crew. We got everybody in the building, including chat family member Freddie Felt. And it's been a really, really good show. We had the legend on, Detroit News Rod Beard for a couple seconds. We talked little Tigers, a lot of Lions. And as we get closer and closer to the regular season and we try to answer some of these questions for the Detroit Lions during a Super Bowl year, this is the expectation for them. I do have a question. Well, the Lions have probably the biggest questions right now, wide receiver depth as well as the edge rusher help. I gotta ask, do you guys believe that Brad Holmes regrets taking Gio Manu rather than a wide receiver or edge?
I don't think Brad Holmes has regrets. However, here's where this could be a legitimate question, because on first hand, it's like, yeah, Giovanni Manu, he's a Brad Holmes guy. He could maybe take over the tackle position at some point in his career, maybe even play guard. I understand that. One thing, though, one thing that I said when this draft pick was made originally is this is the type of pick that Brad Holmes, you can be like, okay, he obviously sees something, but if Bob Quinn would have made this pick, we would have murdered him.
Absolutely.
And rightfully so, because I don't love the idea of taking a developmental pick right in the middle of the Super Bowl run, especially considering you've got Penei and Taylor Decker locked up long term. The biggest wild card, and I'm going to focus on the edge rushers because the wide receiver one I'm not quite as concerned about. What if James Houston isn't good? What if James Houston does make the practice squad? What if he gets cut? I'm not saying it's going to happen. It's just I don't think any of us even foresaw these kind of scenarios even happening. And I'm looking at guys like Austin Booker, Muhammad Kamara, Javon Solomon, and Jalen Harrell. I probably, at least for the betterment of this season, I think those are guys that are going to help that could help you more this year than a Giovanni Manu will. And I understand the Lions are talking about long term and having a long Super Bowl window, but the Lions are just as likely, they are just as much a factor as any other team in the NFL this year to cash one in. Yeah. And it's certainly something that you have to at least question, that it appears that one of their picks, who they traded up for, is somebody who you know won't contribute a damn thing this year.
Yeah, first off, FTB. Sure. Just let's get that out of the way.
P or B?
B.
Oh, B.
All of them, but for today.
I thought you said all of them at the same time. That's why.
Yeah, maybe I did. Maybe that's my mumble coming out, working to my advantage. I got to enunciate my words. FTB. I do like that Booker pick for them, though. He's still raw. He looks really good, but he's still raw. It's going to take him some time, but if he develops into something even competent this year, opposite Montez Sweat, and continues to improve, I like that for them. I would have loved to have him on this team. The edge rushers that were available, I get it. I get what Brad Holmes is doing, tiering these draft picks, tiering the offensive line. Hopefully he becomes that left tackle or guard on the opposite of Penei Sewell. But until we see him look like Penei Sewell, which we aren't going to see him be a competent offensive lineman for 2 years, I would have rather traded up to get an edge rusher or just selected an edge rusher with this pick. I'm a big fan of Javon Solomon, who went to the Bills. He's one of my favorite. I think he was in the 5th round. Jalen Harrell went late. We all, I think, were talking about Muhammad Kamara in some aspect. I would have gone that route. And maybe we'll continue on the edge rushers, but when you think of Johnny Wilson, who went to the Eagles, wide receiver, 6'5", or maybe 6'6".
He's 6'7". He's like the tallest receiver in that draft.
He's the huge one who, you know, many speculate he might become a tight end. He's huge. Jordan Whittington, the Rams took him, and he's looked great. And even Brendan Rice, who Jim Harbaugh took out in the Chargers. Those are all – Whittington's not as tall, but they're all bigger receivers that will fill that X need. To me, I trust Brad Holmes, so I'm not going to, like, let it linger. But I would have taken an edge rusher or a wide receiver there.
You know what? And I feel exactly the way that you described, but it's almost like, okay, but Brad Holmes, he hasn't really led us astray yet. And I almost feel like in some regards, yes, I'm like, yo, why not edge or wide receiver? But I almost feel in some regards this feels like the trade deadline as well. At the time, all of us, many fans, many observers, many supporters, and media believe that the Lions were playing to win one playoff game, win your first home playoff game, win your division, and then they're probably going to be out. That's what a lot of people thought. And they thought, you know what? We need more help at the deadline at the edge just to make sure that that can happen. Otherwise, we might fumble that first game. And then we saw that whatever Brad Holmes, because they came to the podium and say, look, we feel we have what we need. Yeah. We believe that. That's the part of it that makes it kind of like it's defying my logic, because what they're doing is just like they got some secret mojo over there. But I know you got some opinions on it too, KG.
No, I think we just got to give it time. And I can understand why fans, you know, think the way they think now, you know, in retrospect. But I think we just got to give this thing some time, man. I think at the time, he assumed that a full season of James Houston and a Marcus Davenport addition would be enough at the edge rusher position. I really do think that they did not sign Josh Reynolds again, not one just because of the money, but because they also felt like DPJ would be able to step into that either number 3 or number 4 role. So far, that hasn't happened. But even with all that, I still think they have enough. And I know, you know, sometimes these picks can look a little crazy, but I think they were sold on the type of size that he has. Even at the offensive lineman position, he is a giant. Like, he is something that if you can mold that and craft that, he'll be a unicorn in this league, you know, something that you don't rarely see at the tackle or guard position. And I just think back to Broderick Martin, man. A lot of us question that Broderick Martin pick. He was drafted in the 3rd round. He was a project. You look this year, he's transformed his body. He's made some plays in the preseason, and we expect him to be a contributor, you know, during the regular season as a backup on that defensive line.
And what's the fan narrative today about Broderick Martin versus
exactly? Look how drastically it's changed, and we do still need to see it on the field. Yeah, I would just caution fans to give these kind of picks some time. When they took him, they knew he was going to be a project. Let's just strap in. Taylor Decker's extension runs through 2027, so that to me is an indicator of when they feel like they will have Manu ready to either take that role or they'll have to go out and get someone else.
And just a quick question on that too, because I get Broder's point too. With this being a Super Bowl expected year, would you have rather them made that investment, or do you believe, you know what, they got what they need this year, they can get it done, and that this Geo pick is probably one that's going to make sure they can get it done for years to come?
But see, the key is they held on to some money. And I think that's what a lot of people are sleeping on. They have cap space and flexibility. I'm telling you, they've kept some flexibility in that front office to where they can make a move at any time. It could be after training camp, after, you know, before the season starts. It could be at the deadline. If they feel they need to add, they can go do that. They're just really selective in who they bring into this culture and who they bring into this team. But I have no qualms that if they feel they need something, they will go get it, and they have the means to do so.
That's fair. And the one qualm that I have is we think Broderick Martin is going to be good, but Broderick Martin has contributed to the NFL the same amount as I have right now, which is absolutely nothing. Yeah. Although
we do need to see it.
Although we expect for him to have a season in which he's at least a rotational defensive lineman. It's the reason we're even asking this question, and I want to be clear. I'm not at all doomsdaying. I'm not saying that, oh my God, we're going to rue the day we didn't draft Austin Booker. That's not what I'm saying. We're asking this question because there is no way in you-know-where that Brad Holmes could have foreseen James Houston and Donovan Peoples-Jones being people who you're thinking about cutting. And for the record, we don't even know if they're going to be cut. It's just there's a lot more question marks about those guys than we thought. And if James Houston is somebody who doesn't contribute to this team, then you start to think, did they do enough at the opposite edge rusher? And I get it. You still have Aleem. You still have DJ Reader. That's going to be pretty damn formidable. But Marcus Davenport and Josh Paschal are not players in which you can 100% rely on right now. I expect a breakout season of Josh Paschal. He's played 10 and 12 games in each of his 2 seasons, respectively. Marcus Davenport, all that man does is get hurt. I'm not trying to be mean.
Factual.
Like in some of his most notable seasons, he played 4 games last year. The season before, he had half a sack in 15 games. It was either 2022 or 2021. And then in his best season, which we would love to get from him, he had 9 sacks, but in 11 games. Yeah. That's the only reason this question is being asked. And it's also because we know for a fact Giovanni Manu isn't doing anything this year. And that could be okay. I just hope that it's not something where there's some obvious deficiencies on any side of the ball for the Lions.
What would it take on the topic of this comment Ed O'Neill made? He said, but I think if the D-line doesn't perform by week 8, they will trade for an edge rusher like Hendrickson. Like, what do we have to see or not see throughout the first eight weeks of the season for them to really take bringing in an edge rusher mid-season, which they haven't shown they like to do yet? Maybe being in this Super Bowl run right now changes things, but what has to happen for them to go do that? Is it a total flop of Marcus Davenport almost doesn't play, or just, whether he's injured or you're not getting anything out of him? Like, is that enough to go make a move this deadline? Because I think they're higher on Marcus Davenport and think he's going to be more available than probably 98% of the fan base.
That's fair. And Marcus Davenport is somebody who has had flashes in this league. I think in order for it to be something that the Lions do, one, they could even do it if they're even better than you think, just to make them a juggernaut. However, if we're going the other end of the spectrum, if we're still having these conversations of Aiden Hutchinson needs more help, then I think that would be a situation where you consider making a move.
Yeah.
Because coming into this year, the expectation is that this could be a damn good defensive line. It's been really disappointing, the reports and the preseason play of one James Houston. How in the world are we talking about this man potentially being on the practice squad? It seems unfathomable.
Yeah, there are like 2 pretty wildly opposite different or things that could happen with this defense. Like, imagine if Levi O plays during the regular season like we hear. Imagine if Marcus Davenport is healthy and can get you 9 or 10 sacks. Imagine if James Houston is actually a contributor and can get you, 6 to 10 sacks. Like, if all these things play out and Josh Paschal has a pretty good year, Broderick Martin does a little bit, this has the makings of a really, really good defensive line. But if those things don't happen, there's trouble on that offensive line. We got Hutch and we got McNeil, so I think there's a floor that isn't like, bottom 10 in the league.
But you don't want them getting taxed, especially by the end of the season.
We need this defense top 15. A top 10 defense. We're for real a Super Bowl contender if this defense plays like it could, like a top 10 defense. It has the pieces, but those pieces, like we just mentioned, they got to be healthy and perform. 2 things that we haven't seen consistently out of Davenport, Levi O, Broderick, James Houston.
Yeah, and 3 players that I was very, very, very intrigued with seeing in preseason, probably my top 3. It was Hendon Hooker, it was James Houston, it was Donovan Peoples-Jones. Mm-hmm. I'm glad that Hendon Hooker is at least doing what he's supposed to do, but I'm very, very sad that it's at a position that we don't even want to see touch the field during the regular season. Like, you know what I mean? So with Donovan Peoples-Jones and James Houston, these are supposed to be pieces that we thought were going to contribute in big ways. We don't have the big body receiver right now. We thought Donovan Peoples-Jones could at least fill some aspect of that void to some degree and have some bounce back year. Mm-hmm. And with James Houston, ever since we saw the flash of what he, opposite of Aiden Hutchinson, could be, we've been just waiting. I don't know if there's something that the Detroit Lions saw that say, hey, maybe he's not the just get after the quarterback guy that we saw. I still feel like he's a gamer. I just wonder why they would try to switch things up a little bit. And then all of a sudden they just stop that. And he still doesn't make any noise in the preseason against backup.
Sure, and I want to be a little bit fair to James Houston. I think, at least because I see more negative things about him in the chat than even positive anymore, and I don't blame you, by the way. It wasn't his fault what happened last season. He did get hurt, but as I mentioned on a previous show, how much did we enjoy last year's Lions season? It was amazing. They were winning damn near every week. They won the division. They had a couple of playoff games at Ford Field, and they won both of them. and James Houston had absolutely zero to do with it. And I think that that's why some fans are sleeping on James Houston and why it almost seems like, and I'm not trying to diss our chat, I'm even guilty of this right now. There's almost a little bit of a confirmation bias right now going on as to where he was out of sight, out of mind last year. They could do what they did without him, although it looked kind of rough rushing the passer at some time. That's just, I think that's what it is right now.
Yeah.
And I think the Lions are going through a process where they're accepting that James Houston is not a complete defensive player. He can do one thing very, very well, and he did one thing very, very well in 2022, but that's it. I don't want to see him on run likely downs. I don't want to see him dropping into coverage. I don't want to see him on special teams. I don't want to see him even doing like weird stunts or anything like that. I just want him to
see quarterback, get quarterback.
See quarterback, get quarterback. You know that bend that everybody talks about?
Yeah.
Bend on under those offensive tackles and I go get the quarterback. That's all I want from him.
Go ahead.
No, real quick, I would also say it was leaked last year by Ari Mayraw of a 33rd team that they did try to go after Danielle Hunter at the trade deadline.
That's
so
right. That's right.
I do
That's
believe
right.
that if they feel the need is there, they'll go get it.
Yeah. Shout out to Dante151 in the chat, super chat 499. He said, people forget that Houston is a 7th round draft pick from the 2022 draft. So if he's on the practice squad, it's not the end of the world. It's not. But it's just when you are
It's a downgrade,
depending on him.
Yeah, that's it.
It's not like he's a guy that you're just, hey, let's just see what we have here. He was already a part of things. We were just waiting for him to get back from injury and to be that same guy that we saw getting sacks at such a high volume in his first season here. You know what I mean? With James Houston.
I'm not worried. If James Houston goes to the practice squad as a player, I'm not worried about it. But for this Lions team this year chasing a Super Bowl, we need to know what we have at edge. We need to have a reliable, starter and backup, or however they split the snap counts, whether it's Houston and Davenport or Davenport and Pascal and a little bit of Levi O. Depending on how they use it, you just need that reliability. We need to know that when Davenport either misses a game or just needs a breather, that they have a Corvette in there to go and just chase a quarterback. That's why I'm glad that they stopped him at Sam linebacker. We got a pretty great linebacker crew, a pretty deep one too. We don't need him playing outside linebacker. We need him to go find the quarterback like Sam just said.
Yes, and for the record, I mean that, and it sounds like I was being a little backhanded about it. I mean that as a compliment to James Houston, because Terrell from FL, shout out. That's fine, Sam. 2nd, 3rd, and long, go get the QB. That is one of the most important skills you can have in the National Football League.
Absolutely.
And James Houston, if he can't do anything else but get to the quarterback, he will be one of the more valuable contributors on this defense. And I want to respond to one other thing. When you're James Houston, because in 2022, he had 8 sacks and 92 pass rush snaps. That's insane. You don't get to then be like, he's on the practice squad, he's a 6th round pick. That's fine. That's actually a good thing. Don't do that. He's needed.
We can't. Yeah,
he's needed.
The expectations change when you prove what you are. Then all of a sudden we have to say, you know what? We are dependent on you now, James Houston. And I know that he puts those types of expectations on himself, and he's openly talked about that as well. So that's definitely a good distinction by you.
And think about this as a left tackle or as any offensive tackle, and really we know Darisaw with the Vikings is probably the best left tackle in the NFC North. But think of the difference with Davenport, then James Houston, then Levi O, and Davenport and Levi O and Houston. We're talking like mammoth human beings. Davenport's huge and powerful. What is he, like 6'6"?
Yeah.
Levi O 6'4", 300 pounds. And then you got Houston coming low with the speed.
Yep.
Like that's the stuff that is hard to prepare for as a offensive tackle. Regardless of how good your footwork is, how strong or how quick you are, the variance in those types of edge rushers from a power and a speed standpoint, that's an asset that Aaron Glenn, I know, wants to play with.
Well, and that's why, and I know I was open to the idea of using James Houston as a trade piece for like a Noah Brown, but my overwhelming impulse is that regardless of how he plays in practice, regardless of that failed Sam linebacker experiment, I think he's got to make this team. They've got to at least try it out. Even if you throw him out there for 7 snaps in week 1 on only 3rd and longs, give it a try, because as you said, Broder, the variance in styles and skill sets of the potential edge rushers. And that's why having Davenport and Houston as a combined bookend to Aiden Hutchinson sounds really damn intriguing on the surface and at its ceiling.
Yeah.
It's just hopefully they can get there.
We need that. It was tough sometimes in these fourth quarters seeing Aiden Hutchinson just kind of like, and it was after we saw 2-3 plays in a row where he's double teamed, triple teamed, still getting the pressure too, by the way. And then people want to like,
most in the league.
Sack. Get that man some help, and that's why this is so important about James Houston.
And tomorrow we're going to be talking heavy defense, and there were some clips coming out of camp yesterday of Aiden Hutchinson bull rushing Penei Sewell. Like just one clip. It was probably the best rep of the day, but it just reminded me, those two going up against each other every single day in practice. Good Lord. Let's get to what's trending with JB Smooth.
That's right.
Absolutely. But first, if you need a wide receiver, I always bring this up. You see the old ad. Mark White's got that 60-inch vertical damn near. But he's also, if you're dreaming of a new home, feeling a financial pinch, Mark White & Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, I said $5,000. Call Mark White & Associates today at 248-290-8242 or visit them at markwhitesells.com. Again, call Mark White today at 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
So just to get the heated steering wheel, I also had the spring for the bigger rims.
Yeah, that's how they get you. Those upgrades will cost you an arm and a leg every time.
Hey, new car crew, how'd it go this weekend? I got a great deal on mine.
How?
I went to Randy Wise, not those other guys. They got me in a great new ride, and they didn't break my budget. Hey, could you pass me the sugar?
How?
Never mind.
He made the wise choice.
Yep.
Make the wise choice at randywisechevy.com.
The Ally Challenge presented by McLaren is back August 22nd through 25th at Warwick Hills and Grand Blanc. Be there for PGA Tour Champions Golf, Family Night, concerts, and more. Tickets start at just $15. Get yours at allychallenge.com today.
It's bear hunting season, and Dan Campbell is hungry for some kneecaps.
If you can just get a hold of them and you start dragging their ass out to the deep, dark abyss, you can drown them.
The Kings of the North are back for another year of the brand new Lions. Make sure you're locked in to Detroit's #1 sports network for all the news and info on your Detroit Lions.
Woodward Sports, let's go.
At Planet Fitness, you can get everything you need for just $1 down.
Try out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Hey, y'all better get on these free fitness training sessions from Planet Fitness.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home?
Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
Join Planet Fitness today and get everything you need for just $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends Thursday, July 18th.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Soroki's Crispy Chicken and Pizza has taken over Michigan, known for their quality hand-battered and hand-breaded chicken tenders, sandwiches, and New York-style pizza.
And biscuits.
Hey, biscuits. They might even be the best thing that they got at Soroki's. Locations are popping up all over Metro Detroit, doubling the number of restaurants this year. Soroki's just had their grand opening in Madison Heights. Be sure to stop in and try a mega station near you or go to Sorokis.com.
Welcome back to Wake Up Woodward. Chat family, thank you guys for supporting the entire WUW Crew and some of even our chat family here. Shout out to Freddie Fell 313 in the building. And you guys already know what it is. Smash that like button for JB
Smash
Smooth.
that.
It's time to cook up with Woodward Sports' MVP.
Let's do it.
And now it's time for the most electrifying segment on the internet.
We got it back.
Bum, bum, bum. It's What's Trending with JB. Live on Wake Up Woodward.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jay Bizzo.
Let's rock.
And Chase. Can't forget about
Chase.
Can't forget about Chase as well, too.
Let's rock.
All right. First, I got to start off with this because the inner child inside me is so happy right now that this is finally back. I don't know where Justin is, but we already got college football back. So announced yesterday, I don't know if you guys know about this group, but the gang is back together. I am talking about the
backyard baseball.
sports.
Yeah.
Oh,
Backyard sports is back,
Yeah.
everybody. Just announced yesterday, this trailer just came out. They are revamping the whole series once again, keeping it original, but they will be having backyard baseball, soccer, basketball, and I think even hockey as well, too. So Pablo Sanchez is back.
Pablo
is back, and I just got to ask you guys, since we already got college football back. Hopefully EA is working on some college basketball. What other games would you like to see back again? I know for me already, it's got to be NFL Street.
Yes.
And also Def Jam, Fight for New York. But what do you guys want back?
I want Fight Night back. And I know we getting a game called Undisputed that's coming out in, I think, October, man. Boxing game. I used to love the Fight Night games back in the day, man. Some of the best boxing video games ever, bro. Story and just picking up and play was great.
Honestly, I can't even talk about the ones that I want. I'm just excited about the backyard games.
Right? Take you back to childhood.
That was my childhood. Because I'm me, I would usually, like, on backyard basketball, play as Kevin Garnett. Of course I would.
Of course.
Even like Lisa Leslie, or I remember Drew Bledsoe was in a version of backyard football. It's just insane. But low-key, a guy that I would always want on my team, Ricky Johnson. Remember Ricky Johnson, the bald, huge head, neck that's like this long, legs big around, goofy-looking Ricky Johnson, who kind of talked like this? Ricky Johnson.
I have made an appearance because I have to say mine. Mario Super Sluggers, please bring it back. That game is so goated. One of the best Wii games on the planet, no doubt.
Hey, listen, I need Metal Gear Solid. I know they've made other games. But I'm talking about like the original ones on the PlayStation. I'm talking about the gray kind of space one with the big old disc.
Yeah, 1 and 2.
That's what I'm talking about. 1 and 2. I want that Metal Gear Solid style of gameplay with today's technology. I need it, man. Solid Snake, shout out to you.
Shout out.
I want the Zoom beanies back.
The what?
The what?
Do you guys remember the Zoom beanies?
We do not.
No. Is that like one Pikmin?
What? I think it's a computer game, right? Or NBA Jam. Okay, I'll go sports.
Good try, bro.
Hey, shout out to Raymond Legends as well.
Someone in the chat is going to know what the Zoom beanies are. I guarantee that.
They might. I sure as hell don't.
I don't know what the Zoom beanies are. Maybe someone can educate us a little bit more on that. But, Broder, you got to grade this pitch for me. And be nice. Be nice. It is Hawk Tua.
Look at his face, dog.
This is truly a spitball.
I see.
What you
solid
there?
What?
Too solid.
It wasn't bad. In fact, it was better than Machine Gun Kelly and Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah.
Although I don't understand.
With the chest bump.
I don't get why there's not an actual player catching the ball.
I think she's probably one of her best friend out there. I don't know.
Yeah, that we got to at least stick to some tradition. We got to have one of the players out there. Yeah. I do like that she won up on the mound. Usually they tell people to stay on the grass.
Hey, should she have spit on the ball before she pitched it?
100%. Totally a missed opportunity, KG.
Yeah.
Totally a miss. That would have gone viral.
Spit on that thing.
I mean, here's the thing. It was cool when it happened, but isn't this just proof that, like, we live in a degenerate culture?
Yeah. Here come fun police.
I am fun police.
Let Hawk Tua live, man.
No, it's true.
Let Hawk Tua live.
I don't mind it, but picture, like, a dad taking their daughter to a game and the daughter asking, hey, who is that? How'd she become famous? How do you explain that?
I'll tell you when you're older. That's how you explain it.
Yeah, what do you say? Something you're never doing.
Right. Ever.
Like, she's famous now. Her family's like, hey, we're so proud of you. It's like, but she's Hawk Tua, girl.
We're so proud of you for spitting on that thing.
Hey, she didn't. She never asked to be famous. She was just being herself, and we just live in a society that everything's recorded.
That's right.
So I'm just saying, man.
No, it's not her fault. It's our fault.
Get your bag.
And of course, a good Hawk Tua ain't never hurt anybody. So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
It sounds like, man, wake up, Woodward. You had a little Hawk Tua action this morning, KG?
No, I wish. I'd have been a lot more perkier coming to this big.
Oh my God. All right, moving on. I got to show you a moment where keeping it real just goes completely wrong.
Okay, Smooth Criminal. Oh, shit.
No. Just watch behind you, please.
Oh, he was killing it before that, though.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Honestly, I thought he was on like a moving sidewalk.
Right. That's a broken vertebrae right there.
He lost all of his Sonic coins, bro. All of his coins.
Wait, I'm gonna time it.
is in the building.
I'm gonna time it here.
Yo, this is like, is this like DJ Moore getting his back blown out by
Third
Cameron
time's the
Bynum?
charm.
Seriously.
Wait, DJ Moore blew who back
You
out?
didn't hear that?
Yeah, I'm like,
You didn't hear the interview?
It's on Amon-Ra's podcast.
Oh no, I
You
ain't see
didn't hear
that.
the
Of course, I'm not hearing nobody's
DJ
back
Moore.
getting blown
No,
out.
of course, it's
For
the guy
grown-ass
who's.
man.
Of course, it's the guy who was crying about Alex Anzalone hitting too hard.
Oh man, come on. Ain't
I
nobody
bet
taking
you the
that
Vikings
serious.
fans are
Got my back
complaining
blew
about
out.
this too, calling it a dirty hit.
Right. That's a good play, but that was dirty as hell.
Yeah. They got him a little bit under the knee.
Well, and for the record, to be fair to DJ Moore, he was asked a question about how hard he'd ever gotten hit. He just used a weird choice of words.
And continued to use it.
Back blew out.
Yeah.
That no grown man should be saying
He was
that.
ridiculous, too. He didn't back down.
grown man.
He didn't back down at all.
No grown man should be saying that at all.
That's facts.
But man, hey Chase, man, you know you got that thing over there with the trust fall.
Oh,
Right. Bring back the trust fall.
Oh,
shit.
That sounded like someone's skull hit the metal, dog.
Shit. Bro, this is classic, bro.
No,
I see that video. No, shout out to her. I see that video.
God. Wait, one more time, JB.
Bring back the trust fall,
Bro,
man.
the person he fell on at the trash can, dog. Like, is that person
This
still
was
with us?
bad.
No, this one.
Yeah, that's
like,
horrible.
I feel like I heard someone's hand smack the trash can.
This one crazy.
This one.
I'd
Brother, what are you doing
If
this happens to you?
If a stranger like that did, I'd be so pissed.
You gonna squirrel with him?
I don't know what
Give me
you're
my
doing,
space.
brother.
I'm still in the 6. Give me my 6 feet of space.
Like, let me ask you, Flannel, you're a married man. What is better, brother? If someone tries to do this to you as a prank, or those videos of the guy, the big buff guy, used to walk up and smack dudes, girls on the
Oh,
butt?
yeah.
Oh, I remember that.
I
dude.
mean, I would rather have this happen for sure.
Real talk, Aegis 411 says Lions should sign him.
I mean, that's fair.
Giammyr's not going to be ready for 2 years. We need some tackle depth.
I don't know.
This guy's ready.
Yeah, if he fall that much, I don't know if I want him on my offensive line. He just gonna fall, trust fall. Like, nah, I'm good.
Well, he sells out for his team.
I guess. It's a good point.
That's fair. That's fair. And finally, I will end it with this. Justin, where you at, man?
I'm right here.
You gotta explain your video to everybody. You wanted some surfing videos from him. I'm gonna give you some surfing videos. Justin, you ready?
Surfing.
Yes, sir. Hit that shit. So this is me surfing on my lake.
Okay.
Just on a vibe.
All right, Rocket Power, I see you.
Yeah. I didn't have a
We
video
are
of me
riders
hitting a 360,
on a
but I could also
mission.
do that. But yeah, I just love going out there. It works on me getting into flow state and like staying in flow state. And I love it. Just listening to music on the water.
That's
pretty much
what's
it.
up.
So no humor at all.
No humor at all. No.
Hey, that's he's serious
Just
right now.
pure
Look at his
vibes.
face.
That
Just
is
pure
a
vibes.
fail. I'm sorry. I come to this segment to laugh.
You was looking for a wipeout, huh?
Yeah, I'm waiting for it. Like,
It's like, eat a wave! Eat a wave!
My mainland name is Kunu. Don't do anything.
boy, if you played this on Big D, Neil Rule would fry the shit out yo.
Oh, man.
I'd like to see you or Neil Rule get up there and do that.
I'm not a surfer. I never claimed to be. So
Shout out.
I don't even get the water.
We don't do those things.
Yeah,
Exactly. I'm a
Put
land
my feet in the water.
athlete. Land athlete.
Land athlete. Oh, man.
All right.
Dog, that's
Shout
a
out
great
to
What's
Justin for
Trending,
that
man.
one, but that's it for What's Trending. Let's hop into some mailbag, everybody.
That is a great What's Trending.
I got to tell you about the Boys and Girls Club. Join the best youth football league in Metro Detroit. The Boys and Girls Club of Southeastern Michigan's 3C Sports League offers youth ages 5 to 14 with 6 exciting teams to choose from in Detroit, Belleville, Highland Park, and East Point. All coaches are trained, certified, and undergo background checks. Register for football or cheer at bgcsm.org. Equipment, meals, and transportation included, all for a chance to play for a championship at Ford Field for just $175 per child. Put the youth back in youth sports with BGCSM 3C Sports.
The Great American Chevy Week is back and bigger than ever at Feldman Chevrolet. Choose from the largest inventory of award-winning Chevys, all priced to move for the biggest week of the year. Get this 2024 Silverado for only $213 a month, or this 2024 Equinox for as low as $249 a month. Feldman takes the Great American Chevy Week to another level. Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Congratulations to the real coach of the year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Attention sports fans, don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday during Big D Energy and every Thursday on Armani and Edwards, where he's offering you top-notch injury advice. Trust the guy that DMAC trusts. Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsandSpine.com or call 248-426-9944. And also, how would you like to play with a legend like Darren McCarty, Kirk Gibson, Braylon Edwards, or even Megatron Calvin Johnson? It's the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour. Register today and you could play like a VIP. Go to WoodwardSports.com or scan the code on the screen. I'm telling you guys, stay tapped into the socials. You get a peek and a view into everything that we're doing. It's a lot of celebrities, a lot of the legends that we all grew up loving and supporting in Detroit sports. And also, when it comes to your next car or truck, make the wise decision. Randy Wise Automotive. And we are back. It's Wake Up Woodward. Thank you, chat family, for being here. Smashing that like button if you haven't gotten the opportunity to. Definitely go ahead and hit the like button. It supports us tremendously, and we appreciate you guys. It is time for our mailbag segment presented by Feldman. So go ahead and start to get those questions in.
Absolutely.
Hey.
Since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience called the Feldman Advantage. With 18 locations, there's a Feldman dealership in your backyard. Visit FeldmanAuto.com to find the location nearest you. Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer.
Hey, and you know what is our Wake Up Woodward mailbag segment presented by Feldman Automotive Group without the chat family? Going ahead and get your questions in the chat. But first, let's kick it off with one of our chat family members, Freddie Felt 313.
Freddie Felt has a gift bag for mailbag. Freddie, go up in there in the middle. Go up there in the middle and hand it to.
Shout out, Freddie.
A gift for flannel.
And
say what up, by the way.
Look
This
at
is Freddie Felt.
What up, though, Detroit? Look at the colors, though. Can we take a look at the colors?
Yeah.
I see it.
We got the Kansas City Chief colors. Flannel, you are one of one. You bring the energy every show to this network. I really do appreciate you, especially your Michigan takes. Go Blue.
Yes, sir.
From the chat to you, I have a couple presents.
Oh,
for Flannel Sandbag.
A couple? Wow.
You shouldn't have.
I'm intrigued.
Put the bow on it and everything.
You didn't disappoint, did you?
You got to hold it to the camera. Let's see it.
Hey, you may know DDE, Detroit versus everybody, but for Flannel, when he's watching The King and Glass Joe from Mike Tyson Punch-Out AD, Los Angeles versus everybody, snapback.
That is
Let's
great.
rock.
Goodness.
What else we
What
got?
else is in there?
What else we got?
What is this?
What is this?
What is it?
You'll have to
Is
pull
that
it
Kermit
out.
the Frog?
Pull it
It's
out.
Patrick Mahomes. It's Patrick Mahomes.
Hey, Flannel, may I?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Okay, let's see. He's all tied up in a
Oh,
knot
it's an
here.
actual puppet.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So Flannel can have his hands inside of Kermit.
Oh.
Oh, wow. Kermit Mahomes.
Pause. That is fly.
I'm Patrick Mahomes.
I'm him.
I'm here. I am Flannel's favorite quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. My right tackle gets away with a false start on every possession, so I have more ability to score.
Oh,
That is great.
You did not disappoint.
No, look at that. I mean, we got Kermit Mahomes. What more do you need? But yeah,
Flannel.
no, really though, I appreciate you, Flannel.
Thank you.
Appreciate
This
what
is
you
fly,
do. But yeah,
man.
these
Shout
are for you.
out.
I'll take my hand out of Kermit's ass.
I bet this wasn't on your bingo card that you're going to wake up and receive a Kermit puppet.
No, it was not. It was-
Hey, shout out, man. Shout out. Any last words for your chat family?
Hey, no, appreciate the show and the chat for bringing the energy every morning. These guys do a great job. You got KG, Legend, JB in the booth, like the unsung heroes. You got these guys on the desk, Broder, like the best sports show in Detroit, hands down. And I mean that. And, I was telling Broder the other day, for a lot of people, especially me, I'm a transplant, Detroiter. I live out of state. You guys every morning make me feel at home with your sports take, so I really do appreciate it.
That's what's up.
It's still real to me, damn it. I appreciate it. So
and
shout out,
I got to call out to
Freddie.
Jay Dilla as well. To Jay Dilla.
Oh yeah, shout out
man,
JD,
he is
Frank
fresh.
Nitt, Ma Dukes,
Straight up
JD
fresh.
forever.
Got the Ewins in the Pistons color, man. He ain't playing.
Hey, who's got
Freddie's
a better-
an all-time Detroit sports fan. Grew up in Pontiac. Just all-time, all four sports.
By way of Rochester Hills.
By way of Rochester Hills. I got a question. Stay up there because I have a question for you guys. You three. Mason Leach says, what's more likely to happen? This is a Feldman mailbag question. Donovan Edwards wins the Heisman or Michigan O-line wins another Joe Moore award? If either happens, he says, that means we're winning the Big Ten championship. What's more likely to happen? Donovan Edwards, Heisman, or another Joe Moore award for the top offensive line?
Heisman for Donovan Edwards. I don't think either's going to happen, though. It's just with this offensive line, they have 5 new starters.
Donovan. Ha ha.
Don.
Yeah.
Don.
I agree with that.
Has to be Donovan.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
think
Kool-Aid.
so.
Alan W. Mailbag. Who needs to make a leap for the Pistons to be successful this season? For me, it's Ivy and Duran. Some people say Cade, but he's already an all-star caliber player. That wouldn't add many wins. Who's needed to step up?
Cade has to prove that he can play with the new additions. You got the shooters there. Like we say with Aaron Glenn and the Lions, you got the assets now. You got to go out there and make something work. No more excuses. So Cade has to prove that he is the connector that we've all believed him to be. So I'm not going to remove that responsibility from him, and I know Cade wouldn't remove that from himself either. Next up for me is Jalen Duran. We do not have a paint presence, a paint protector. I like what Beef Stew brings, but he's undersized. As it relates to our one of our taller players, physically gifted, sculpted player, that's Jalen Duran with the athleticism. He has to go out there and be a menace on the defensive side of the floor. I want him to get some pep moves on offense and all that. Where we need him right now is defense.
Yeah.
Shout out Angel Reese.
No, that was funny what you put in the chat. Talking about she'll have him ready for the season.
How about this, you guys, from Ed O'Neill? Feldman mailbag. Are you confident the Lions can go into Atlanta and win in the playoffs? What about Philadelphia traveling to Philly?
I'd be more worried at Philly, to be honest.
Yeah, because it's outdoors.
This is an indoor team, and I'm not saying that they're not tough, that they're not physical. It's just for an ideal situation, the Lions don't play a playoff game anywhere but Ford Field and the Super Bowl. With Atlanta, at least it's a dome. And I do think that even though I'm high on the Falcons, that in the playoffs, the Eagles will be more formidable.
Yeah. Hey, at the beginning or for the majority of this offseason, I know this answer might have been overwhelmingly Terrion Arnold, but Shane D has a question. Mail sack. Which Lions rookie makes the biggest impact this year? We've seen a couple others show out. Sione Vaki, Isaiah Williams.
Terrion Arnold.
Yeah.
Is it still TA?
Yeah.
It's TA.
Yes.
Yeah. By the way, we didn't get our
second.
injury updates. He's expected back to practice mid next week.
Awesome.
After the Steelers game on Saturday, they're expecting guys to start practicing. LaPorta, Gibbs, Reeder, Rodrigo, and then TA next week.
So it was a lot of what Dan Campbell said. Basically, these guys will be ready for game one, and you must trust them a lot.
Yeah.
That makes me very comfortable.
Yes. So here, let's end with this since Freddie's up there. This will be our last question. I'll put you on the spot, Freddie. From Stephen David. Can we get Feldman mailbag, can we get Freddie to give us his Mount Rushmore of favorite Detroit athletes ever? Take us home.
Oh, man. Well,
That's 4.
And my thing with, and I'm not to poo-poo, but my thing with Mount Rushmores is, are they really the best presidents on the Mount Rushmore? So is it the best people?
It's your Mount Rushmore. Your 4 favorite Detroit athletes.
Man, well, Stevie Y, Barry.
The captain, the GOAT.
Zeke.
3.
Okay.
Mr. Bad Boy.
Who am I not representing?
You got Pistons,
Sports-wise.
Red Wings, football.
Baseball?
Yeah.
I'm going Sweet Lou.
Yeah.
Put this man in the MVP. serious face right now. Put this man in the Hall of Fame. This is my MVP of the Tigers of all time.
Yeah.
Put him in the Hall of Fame. It's long overdue. You talked to Tram the other day, like legends. So yeah, Sweet Lou to round it out.
Iserman, Sweet Lou, Barry Sanders, Isaiah Thomas.
Yep.
That's a hell of a Mount Rushmore.
Yes,
Kool-Aid,
sir.
you want to take us home?
Hey, I will. And you know what? For today, especially since we got the Gold Blue Man in the building, who's got a better chat family than us? Nobody. So instead of a chest pass,
Nobody.
Hey, it'd be the Gold Blue football.
Go Blue.
He do that Kirby voice really good.
Got hands, man. I got hands.
Oh, that's how Jared Goff throws the ball.
We need a mobile quarterback to win games. We can't win with Jared Goff.
Damn, hooker season, man. Let's rock. Let's rock. JB, I know you like that one. Minutes. Hey, this has been a great show. We had the entire WUW Crew with us, and chat family was definitely engaging, definitely on one, keeping us honest, making us laugh. It was epic. It was awesome to have you in studio as well, Freddie Felt. This is your chat family member, guys, and he's just a big supporter of us and others at this network. Thank you for dropping by, and the gifts for family.
Appreciate you guys.
It was an epic second. Shout out to intern Chase as well. He was shadowing JB Smooth, the GOAT in the TV booth. What up, though, intern Chase? And that dude Justin, he's somewhere. That dude Justin, oh, he's walking back in here
Probably
now.
bear crawling or something.
Yeah.
Mobbing with the hoodie up.
Right.
Hey, and shout out to Matthew Broder. Woodward Sports is credentialed Tigers and our Lions reporter and writer for the network and does so much for this show. What up, though, brother?
Appreciate you. This was a fun Wednesday. I'm excited to talk tomorrow, too. I can't wait.
Hey.
I'm excited for all these shows.
I'm excited. The vet of the network that is Flannel Sam.
Thank you, Freddie, for these gifts.
Hold your gifts up, man. Come on. The man came all the way here to
You're
give you
welcome,
gifts.
Flannel.
There you go.
You're welcome.
Be proud of your gifts. Be happy with it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Never gonna see that hat again after the day.
It's not easy being a Chiefs fan.
Shout out to the elite, the wonderful, the great, the stupendous. They just work, man. They talking about some dogs. Our elite booth, man. Shout out to Detroit's #1 draft pick in the sound booth, KG.
My dog.
Black Hollywood.
Yes, sir. Hey, appreciate everybody today. This was a really, really good show, really fun show. Look forward to the rest of the week. Shout out Freddie for stopping by and blessing us, in the studio. And let's keep this shit rolling, man.
Let's keep it rolling, and we will as long as we got Woodward Sports' MVP, JB Smooth, in the TD booth.
Legend.
It's the truth, man. You went away for
Big
a day,
legend.
and everything went to hell.
Big legend.
Stop it.
The glue that holds the whole thing together.
I appreciate you guys so much. Shout out to Freddie Felt for stopping by, yo. Just
Yeah,
checking
man.
out, hanging with us all morning. I don't know if he's going to be on any other shows today, but I'm sure we would love to have him as well, too. But it's been an amazing week. Let's keep it rolling again tomorrow until the end of the week. Let's go.
That's right. I see it there. Shout out to Kay Collins with the last minute super chat, $1.99. We appreciate you as we do all of our chat family. If you haven't gotten the chance to, definitely hit that like button. It's your boy Brandon Dent, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid, your credentialed Pistons reporter and writer for the network. And this has been Wake Up Woodward. Thank you guys for all of the support. Have a blessed day.